Wah, 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 hey, hey, hello, everyone. Blah, blah, blah. Well, hello there, everyone. I love that opening so much, and I know I see a lot of you there that say the same thing. Well, we owe it all to my wonderful, magnificent First Officer, Commander R.M. Briggs. Hello there, number one. Thank you for being here and for
Thank
that
you,
wonderful
Captain.
intro.
Thank you so much, Captain. It's so good to be here. It's so good to be amongst friends. What a busy and hectic week. So much
Yes.
happened this week, and I'm just so glad that you're safe. And I'm happy that New Orleans, not New Orleans, but Louisiana is on the mend, just the whole state. And yeah, good to be here. Good to hear your voice. Good to know you're safe, and good to be amongst friends.
It is. I've been looking forward to this all week, as I always do. Although I had a great time with all of you on the Global Geek Gang Thursday as well, and of course Wednesday night. Had fun. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate everyone who popped in just to hang out. I sat there and just did. I know it wasn't much. I just sat there and talked to you guys, and sometimes I'll do that on a Wednesday night. Sometimes I'll have a plan, and sometimes I'll just hang with you guys. But it was so much fun. You're all fantastic. Number one, look who's here. Well, look, so many wonderful people here. We'll say our hello. I'll tell you what, I'll do our show notes real quickly, quite quickly, I should say, and then we will,
Okay.
then we'll, say our hello. So quick show notes, everyone, and we'll get busy. Bob. Let's see here, where we at? Thursday night. Excuse Thursday night. Monday night. I can't get my day straight. What am I? I'm a doctor, not a calendar, damn it. Oh, I'm not Calendar Man, the Batman villain. Monday, Mark C. Comics Talk. I haven't even begun to study for this one yet. I do it last minute. But maybe I can wing it. Maybe I can't. But we're going to talk about in the next 5 Monday nights will be about all the 5 great team up books and comics. Hey, what can you do? It's comics, and that's what that night is for. And we'll talk about the first one. World's Finest, because folks, screw Marvel, screw DC, screw Marvel too, but Batman and Superman are friends, and I'm going to prove it because they always were. When I grew up, I'm so old, Batman and Superman were buddies, and we're going to talk about their comic that they shared for 40 years to prove that. So World's Finest, and then of course, wah, 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 again, because September the 8th, Wednesday night, this coming Wednesday night, it is Star Trek Day, the 55th anniversary, our birthday of our beloved Star Trek.
Yes.
And to celebrate, my wonderful First Officer and I will be counting down our top 25 all-time favorite episodes of Star Trek, the original series. Are you ready for this, number one? Can you do this?
No, I'm having so much trouble. Like, I've not even started. And all week, my husband and I have just been discussing how I'm going to put the order together. And he has been periodically just out of nowhere. We could be eating supper and he'll be like, so which one are you going to put 8th?
Oh my goodness.
He's trying to guess which ones are going to make my top 10. And then, after you get done the top 10, because the top 10, that's when you're really relishing the TOS. And then when you get into that 10 to 15, that's where you're sort of like, oh, where do I put this? And as you move down, that's when it just starts to hurt more and more. It's hard.
It is.
25 out of 79. Difficult task, Captain. Difficult task.
It is. At least it's 79, though, because there's some stuff like when you do movies or some other things or TV shows when there are hundreds and hundreds to choose from. So 25 out of 79 is not too bad, but you're right, prioritizing them that way. And I've always said this, and Flash and I used to always talk about this when we would do Lord Thoth. I was waiting for his top 10 or something.
LT.
I will challenge you to a duel, sir. How dare you? When you because when you get it, I always try to tell people, so look, do I love my number 15 more than I love my number 23? I don't know, not necessarily. It's not that much greater, but we'll put them in some kind of order. But when you get into the top 10, though, it's some rarefied air right there.
Mine move around. but it's always
Yeah.
the same. Like they move around in order depending upon how old I
Right.
am, what's happening in the world, and how I'm feeling that year that I watched it. Because everyone here knows I watch it every single year. But yeah, so
I can understand that.
I'm pretty solid on my top 10. I'm pretty sure. But after that, it's just like, well, season 3, the corporate season, likely not going to make the cut, Captain.
No, look, when both Flash and I and Matt and I did ours many years ago, I had no spoiler alert, folks. I'm going to spoiler. So I had no season 3ers in there, and they had their lists were infested with season 3, which is fine. I mean, do whatever you want, but I was always kind of every time they would name a season 3 in there, I go, really?
All those choices, and you pick season 3, the corporate season, the season that Gene Roddenberry walked off the set and said "F you." Well, didn't say "F you," but might have used the double flip bird. This is just completely speculation.
If I had an answer or an explanation for you, I would give it to you. Max Redstone, thank you so much, my friend, for the $5 super chat. Knock knock. Who's there? Worse than Wesley Crusher. Worse than Wesley Crusher. Who? No one. No one is worse than Wesley Crusher. No one. Dude, Max, I owe you a super chat for that one. If I had a way to super chat you for that one, I would. Thank you.
Yes.
You on that one.
Arwen, that is what I call season 3 because it is the corporate season. And it's when the fourth corporation moved in and basically started telling everyone that there would be no more compromise, that they will be doing it exactly the way that they wanted, including sort of bullying James Doohan over his hair and how he was going to comb his hair and stuff. And people just got fed up. So they just walked away, Arwen. They just said, that's it. I'm done. I've had enough. So DC Fontana and Gene Roddenberry walked off set. They just said, we're finished. You guys go ahead and crap the bed yourselves, but we're not going to sit in it with you.
Well, there you go. There you go. We're going to say our hellos now to all of our wonderful friends who are here. We'd like to give you all a shout out before we get started. And of course, when we get done, we'll do this quickly so we can get to the episode, everybody. But I'm so thrilled to see you all here tonight. Thank you so much. What a wonderful crowd we have, as always. And hello there to Mr. Stuart Mitchell. Thank you for popping in. Great to see you. Our wonderful Feliciano friends, Raymond and Sandra. Hey there, Raymond and Sandra. Fathom Outsider, buddy. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
The great Snorta Poopas Cuba is in the house.
Snorta Poopas! Cuba.
Captain James D. Skywalker. Welcome, sir.
Ooh, hello.
And I love that we got so many beautiful ladies here tonight. And this one, of course, it's just so wonderful to see the wonderful bionic belly button.
Yay, bionic belly button. So good to see you. And yes, Trekkie women are gorgeous. Present company included.
Yes, indeed. Love to see you, BB. Great to see you. Love seeing you. The great D-Bud Martin, the man of iron. Good to see you there, brother.
Nice to see you.
Another beautiful lady, Arwen Avalon. It's so, and you were terrific the other day on the Global Geek Gang. We enjoyed having you hang out with us, and I hope you will do it again. You're spectacular.
Yes.
The great two of these names together, two of the greatest wrenches of all time. Of course, the great Eric K, the man of bronze. Good to see you, brother. You're the man.
Nice to see you.
Master of all that is wrench Canadian, the great Chris Persia, buddy.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you. I love you.
A newcomer that I've not seen before that I'm very pleased to see because we always love it when newcomers show up and hang out and meet us. And that is, of course, I hope I'm not butchering this. Resvagam, maybe. I hope I'm getting that right. If I'm not, I do apologize. But I'm not sure. But it's good to see you there.
Well, gams are legs, right? They're thighs. So
I guess
reserve. Gam, are you reserving your legs for something? It sounds pornographic. I'm going to stop there. That is a unique name, and hopefully we're saying it correctly, sir or ma'am.
Yep, I hope we are. Yep, either way, we are happy to see you. Thank you. It's great to see everyone who is here, of course. The great Lord Thoth, LT, buddy.
Oh, LT, nice to see you. And here we have an explanation. And of course, it's Latin, and it means I shall rise again.
Okay, excellent. Okay.
Resurgam, I shall rise again. Cool name.
Absolutely. Let's see here. And we always love it when new people show up. So thank you for being here and thank you for the explanation there. We appreciate you. Let's see. Michael Beacom, hello there. Good to see you.
Good evening.
Always great to see you. Enigmatic Drop Bear, always a pleasure.
Hey, nice
Thank
to
you for
see
coming
you.
in. Thank you for dropping in. Another lovely lady, Janet's from another planet. Good to see you.
Interplanet Janet, she's a galaxy girl.
Yes, indeed. Max Redstone, buddy. And now I say Avon lives to Lord. Oh, by the way, yes, Lord Thoth, I forgot Avon lives and long live the Legion. And to you, Max Redstone, since you're also a Blake 7 fan, buddy,
Yay.
Avon lives. Great to see you. And they call him Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete! So good to see you. And Leslie, saying hello to all of the Scuba Pete family.
Indeed. Hello to the family there, Scuba Pete. The great Kal-El 48. Cal, buddy. Good to see you there.
Good evening.
Hello there, the Drusif. Great to see you.
Hey, Drew. Nice to see you. So glad you're here.
Indeed. Zax. Hey.
Hey, Zax.
A new one I don't think I've seen before. King Dolphin TV. Hello there.
Yes, King Dolphin TV. Very interesting channel. Yeah. You should, if you're at home, maybe investigate it after this show. King Dolphin TV. Dun, 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 dun.
Terrell 72. Good to see you here, my friend.
Good evening.
Another lovely lady, Katie Carr. Katie,
hello,
we're
gorgeous.
Always happy to see you. Great. Another lovely lady, anti-derivative Jill. Jill,
hey there. Jill's here.
Snail Messiah, great to see you.
Good evening, Snail Messiah. Great to see you.
Hey there, Tim's Talk, buddy. Good to see you, man.
Welcome.
Monkey Jeebus is here.
I love that name.
Yes, indeed. The Catman, a.k.a. Diddy Myers. Hello.
Diddy. Nice to see you.
Your Muslim uncle's here, too. All right. Good to see you, my friend.
Sir.
Hope I have not missed anyone. You know, this chat gets filled up pretty quickly, and it's difficult to catch everyone. As we go along, I will, if there's anyone I have missed or if I see anyone pop in, like
Dr. Hercumonkey's here.
Uh-oh, he's here. Should we torture him again like we always do? I figure he may stay away because he gets tired of hearing his name like this. But we should All right, here we go. Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Hercumonkey. Doc, good to see you. What's up, Doc? Sorry we're not chasing you. I hope we don't chase you away with that, buddy, but we're glad to see you, man. We miss you.
Yeah, and I hear that Wolfie's here as well, although I can't see him on my side of StreamYard.
Wolfie's here. I'm sorry to miss Wolfie's 762. Hey there.
Some people are not appearing on this side of StreamYard this evening, Captain.
Oh, okay. I got you. Let's see here. I think we have covered everyone for the moment. Let me just double check here, and then we'll get on the road with our episodes. We've got 4 for you, as always, everyone.
We do. Well, before we do that, though, I just want to take a moment, if you don't mind, please, Captain, I beg your pardon. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who participated in my fundraiser to get Clobby an alternate source of power during the hurricane season. You know, I was quite frightened by what happened with this hurricane, the fact that Clobby had to leave his home. He lost power, but he regained his power. And the thing is, you know, this man is such a remarkable and wonderful person to me. And of course, he had nothing to do with it, because Clobby is the sort of person who would put every single person in Louisiana in front of himself before his own needs. And so, you know, Bionic Bella Button, Chris Persia, Anti-Derivative Jill, the Felicianos, many people here who are a part of our community came together to help me raise that money and basically force Clobby to get a power box. And, you know, Clobby is, he's a very important part of his family. He has a big family, and his family has experienced some loss and some crazy stuff with this horrible hurricane. And, you know, I know he's going to use that power box, and it's going to make him and his family safer. And, you know, together we raised $475 American. And hopefully he will actually collect that money and he won't refuse it. But I'm pretty sure he will. And I just wanted to say thanks for that. Clobby had nothing to do with that. That was all me. And like I said, he's the kind of man where he would have taken all that money and donated it to someone else, because that's just who he is inside. And you all came together to help me to do that. And just knowing that he's going to have one of those alternative, Scuba Pete also donated as well. I'm just trying to remember everyone. It was only 14 of us that did it. And so I love you all for helping me to do that, and the thing that I'm going to try and encourage him to buy is something we would use in Canada when the weather gets really scary up here. And so I'm trying to get him to buy one that runs off of solar power, and it has lithium ion batteries, and then he can be a little bit safer. And even if he won't use it himself, the fact that his extended family, that they all come together to support one another, I know that it will be used by his family, and I'm going to force him to get it. And I just want to thank you all for helping me to do that, because this is a very selfless person who would never ask for something like this. He's going to have difficulty even accepting something like this. But for all of us to come together as a family and do this for him means the world to me. It means that when the next hurricane comes, that I know that he'll have that power box there. He'll be able to charge his devices. He'll be able to reach out and talk with people. He won't have to use his car battery to charge his stuff. Even if he doesn't use it in the storm, someone in his family will. And I don't want to divulge his personal information, but he does have a big family, and he's the head of that family. He's a dad. So I just want you to know how much it means to me, and me forcing this on him. So thank you all, and I love you very, very much. I was very scared. I cried that night when I found out that he had to leave because of the hurricane and that it was dangerous. And thank goodness his power came on when he did manage to get home. So, but thank you for coming together with me to do that for this beloved friend of ours. You guys were so generous and so kind, and I just love you for it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Number one, I don't know what to say. I'm not good at this sort of thing. Thank you, all of you who did that. It was not expected. It's never something, the only GoFundMe I've ever started was the one I wanted for this really big pack of M&Ms, and I ended up owing money. So I guess I could use that. I guess I could get this generator that, well, this pack of M&Ms that's shaped like a generator. So number one will think it's actually a generator when it's really M&Ms. But don't tell her, and everyone who's hearing this. Thank you.
Well, if I could just finish up by saying that it's really my hope that anybody who knows anyone in Louisiana will start a similar campaign for people they know and love. In Canada, I live in a place that has very dangerous weather. There have been a couple of years in a row where we were colder than Antarctica. We get down to minus 58 with the wind chill Celsius, and that's something like minus 72 or something for you folks who use Fahrenheit. So I know what it's like to be in dangerous weather. And so when I'm thinking about everybody down there, I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great if everybody in Louisiana could be prepared? If everyone in Louisiana had one of those little power boxes where they could just suck up all the sun into that little box and be a little safer and have a little more resources. So I hope that will inspire everyone to use that more advanced technology and to use this silly thing we call the internet for good. And if you know and love somebody in Louisiana, please think about starting a similar campaign. Let's get as many of those power boxes in Louisiana as possible so that people can be a little safer and a little more comfortable. And I love you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I want to say hello to the great Just Joe 47 Jobber. Good to see you. Yay. And our wonderful pal Nick Weiser's here. Nick. And
Nick also donated. Nick, I love you.
Everyone who did, thank you so much. I can't. I'm speechless, which would be a gift to the internet. I know if I really actually could.
Stop it. We love you.
Resvagam, peanuts. How dare you? Peanut M&Ms, no. Plain M&Ms only. We'll have to have a fight for that someday. No, thank you.
Wolfie says, so it's a generator. And it runs on M&Ms.
Yes. Lord Thoth, $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. You've been such a good buddy to me, and I really appreciate you for a new pack of M&Ms. Thank you. M&Ms it is. It'll look like a generator, but it'll be M&Ms. Thank you so much. The great Nick Weiser, buddies. Oh, thank you, dude.
Sweetheart.
Only if I get to eat the burger with you, hanging out with you, and we're doing, or I can review it, I guess. Thank you.
With Nick. Nick, please say hello to the girls for us. Say hello to all the wonderful ladies in your life.
Yep, indeed, buddy. Thank you so much, buddy. Thanks, Just Joe. Appreciate it, buddy. More M&Ms. Now you guys, I'm not supposed to be eating these M&Ms that I'm about to eat some more of right now. You know that. Wolfie, thank you, Wolfie, for the $10 super chat. My friend, now I'm going to have so many M&Ms, I might be able to trade them in for a generator. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't, of course. I'm just saying. Oh, thank you so much. And before we get started, my wonderful, beautiful first officer is an author. And I want her to tell us a little bit about her work. And then we will get into the episodes. I promise everyone.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's not necessary. Yes, my wonderful friends at home. I write science fiction and I love short story forms. That is my discipline. It's a discipline I've enjoyed since childhood. I just absolutely love flash fiction and short story fiction forms. And like I said, I do science fiction. You can buy it at Amazon. You can get it on, you can connect to it on Goodreads, and you can get it on your Kindle device. You just look up RM Briggs, and you should be able to find it. And thank you for your support.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. I can't even, we better get to the episodes, because if I get emotional on you, I'm going to start trying to think of really dumb jokes, and it's not going to be good. Love you all. Love you all. Well, we have 4 episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation for you tonight. We're in the middle of the 2nd season, and I will let number 1 take it from here, because she will explain her source, and then we'll get going.
Yeah, so, out in this wonderful, wild thing we call the internet, there's a lot of fan lore. And in fan lore, there is a lot of factoid. And unfortunately, people have so many layers of these factoid user-generated things that they're often reporting things that aren't true. So around here, especially because, I am an academic and a scholar, I like to use vetted sources. And so we have this wonderful woman, and her name is Paula M. Block. And she does a lot of writing for Star Trek. She is a trusted source. And what's really great about this woman is that not only is there veracity to the things she says, but her publications often reveal things that have never been revealed before. So tonight we're going to be reading excerpts from Star Trek 365, The Next Generation by Paula M. Block. And she gets a little help here from her husband, Terry J. Erdman. And this book has been christened. It has been blessed by the great Ronald D. Moore. Now, this is basically a block of a book. It's an odd-looking book. It looks like a cinder block. And so it has beautiful photographs in it. Many of them, as I said, have not been seen before. And then it has these wonderful summaries. And then alongside the summaries, it has information that you may or may not have heard of before, but at least you know that it's true. So we read from this text, and then I throw it over to my captain, Clobby, and he has been a Star Trek fan for more than 4 decades. And so he talks about the episode, he talks about the coverage, and then we throw it over to the chat, and we talk to the chat a little bit. And then I have been a fan for over 4 decades myself. So then I add some notes that I make while I'm watching the episode, and then we rate it. And so that's what's going on around here. And tonight we are watching in broadcast order, and we are at The Measure of a Man. We're at season 2. Episode 9. This episode was first shown on February 13th, 1989. Now, many of you have taken the recommendation and have been intrigued by Paula M. Block. So I know that you may or may not have this text, and I know some of you do have this text. So if you're reading along with us, and also to keep us copyright compliant, we are on tile number 88, The Measure of a Man.
Thank you, Michael Bacon. But I just want to say thank you real quick to him for the super chat, so we don't forget it. This chat doesn't go by on me. For candles to see M&Ms by till generator rise. Thank you so much for that, Michael. I appreciate you. Continue. I'm sorry about that. Number one. Go ahead.
Oh, no, no problem at all. Okay, so keep in mind, I am reading extemporaneously. So if you feel like throwing fruit, save it, just eat it, and make a fruit salad. Is Data a piece of Starfleet equipment? A noted robotics specialist has received Starfleet's approval to disassemble the unique android. His goal? To create more androids like Data. But when Data learns that the specialist may not be able to put him back together again, he refuses to submit to the experiment and resigns his commission. In response, Starfleet proclaims that Data can't resign because he's Starfleet property, a position that leads Picard to argue Data's rights as a sentient being in a court of law. Many people think of The Measure of a Man as the quintessential Data story, but Data is not the man referenced in the episode's title. In fact, he isn't a man at all. He is, in his own words, an automaton made to resemble a human being. Certainly, Data's plight is the catalyst for the episode's action, but this really is Picard's story. It is Picard who bears the burden of proof to defend the rights of his friend. For if Data is judged a mere piece of Starfleet property with no rights, no say about his own future, then he can be taken apart and duplicated ad infinitum. And all those duplicates will be property as well. In essence, a race of high-tech slaves. So Picard acts, knowing that an inadequate defense will not only cost Data his freedom, but very, very likely cause something unique, something wonderful to be lost from the universe. It doesn't matter that Data isn't a quote-unquote man. He's an individual, conscious, self-aware, and intelligent, and that is what Picard must make the judge comprehend. Thus, it is the captain and perhaps all of his Starfleet peers who bear the weight implicit in the title. The purpose of Starfleet, as is pointed out at the beginning of every episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation and the original series, is to seek out new life. And here, in one of TNG's finest pieces of oration, Captain Jean-Luc Picard reminds the people gathered in the courtroom of that notable purpose. It is, as she herself described it, a Hollywood Cinderella story. At the urging of her good friend, writer-producer George R.R. Martin, you folks obviously know who that is, novelist Melinda M. Snodgrass wrote a spec script for Star Trek: The Next Generation. Both Martin and her agent warned that a spec script was just a calling card, meant to demonstrate a writer's level of skill at creating characters and crafting dialogue. If she were lucky, she would be invited to meet with the producers and pitch a few story ideas. Snodgrass delivered the script to her agent in 1988, the day before the writer's strike commenced. Geez, the longest writer's strike, ridiculous. At which point, Star Trek production came to a standstill. The strike dragged on for months, far longer than anyone anticipated, and when it ended, it left TNG staffers hustling to fill the very large holes in the show's production schedule. Scripts could now be commissioned, of course, but the process from pitch story to concept to final shooting is never a quick one. Suddenly, the office, quote-unquote, slush pile looked very attractive. Every book publisher, talent agency, and production office has a slush pile of unsolicited scripts or manuscripts. The bulk of these literary efforts never see the light of day. It's too time-consuming to assign someone to read through them and separate the gold from the dross. But after the strike, those slush piles were potential show savers. In October 1988, Snodgrass received a call informing her that the Star Trek staff wanted to see her. She flew from her home in New Mexico to Los Angeles, prepared to pitch some different ideas for episodes. But instead, Snodgrass was told that everyone loved her script and that they wanted to buy it. Could she make the necessary changes right away? She could. In fact, the final script was so well received that it won her a position as TNG's story editor. Snodgrass possessed expert knowledge on the subject matter. Prior to taking up writing as a profession, she had practiced law. The Measure of a Man was nominated for a Writers Guild Award, quite an accomplishment for a first effort at screenwriting. The episode remains to this day a fan favorite. And that is all the block text has to say about The Measure of a Man. Captain, what did you think of this coverage? And what did you think of the episode?
Well, first, hello there, Nurat and Max Amanda Bear. Good to see you.
Hey,
Thank you for
Nurat.
being here. And a new one here, Hereafter Media. Hello there. Always nice to see someone,
Welcome.
a newcomer. Thanks to see you. Thanks. Good to see you. Yeah, well, interesting coverage for sure. I've known of Melinda Snodgrass's connection to George R. R. Martin because she used to write for the Wild Cards books, those anthology books she used to write. And that's how I first heard of Martin. She used to write for those, but this is right now we're so far into what we're doing. This would be my top episode so far. This episode, I've always loved it. I've watched it many times. It's funny how they can make something again. One of the things Trek is so good. Remember when we were in the midst of doing the first 2 seasons of the original series, and I had sort of like these little category words like this episode's about ideas, this episode's about characters, this episode this one combines some of the best drama, ideas, concepts, and characterization. This thing is I'm astonished that it got made, considering some of the episodes were all we're in the midst of. I should say.
Yeah.
But I just think this is a wonderful piece of drama. Yes, in some ways similar to Court Martial, but not really. And you can't do. I mean, everything you're gonna do is gonna be similar to something. I just found it thoroughly entertaining and engrossing. The ideas, the concepts, and we look. He deserves a lot of the things we give Mr. Patty Stew because of the things he's done. But you also have to give credit where credit's due, and this is a marvelous performance by him. In fact, this might be the first one where he really hit his stride as a character, Picard, and his arguments in the courtroom. So I absolutely love this episode. I don't care who knows it.
Yeah. It is a fine episode, especially because we've just emerged from season 1.
Yeah.
So it definitely is a standout episode, and I would certainly agree that there are echoes of Court Martial in this episode. And for those of you at home who may or may not be as big a nerds as Clobby and I, of course we are referring to TOS season 1 episode 20. So it's there are times when you can defy Gene's Bible, and of course it's the way you do it. I think essentially what ends up happening is you can pay homage to Gene, and you can use TOS but not return to it, and I think those are the exact words that he uses about this act of returning to it. So I think that this one, it's more like a flavor. I think we've used the feeling of Court Martial because we want to call to the mind's eye the way that Star Trek feels, the goodness of Star Trek, how it holds a courtroom, how it decides the things that come before it, what makes it good, what makes it bad. So echoes of Court Martial, but certainly
skeletal.
but certainly I don't think a betrayal of the Bible. So I would totally agree with you on that one, Clobby.
Just skeletal. I mean, they're always, even a really great episode can remind you of something else. That's not a sin. So it's just skeletal in it. I mean, it is not copying the plot or any of that kind of thing. It just happens to be a courtroom drama, and every series imaginable made in the 60s, every drama in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, they all had their courtroom drama episode. Just about. I mean, that's a trope, if you will. So that was by no means a criticism.
Well, it's a nice way to testing the reality, though, right? Whenever you introduce a courtroom into any story, what you're doing is you're defining the realm. what makes that realm good? What makes that story world good and bad? What are the boundaries? Who are the good people? Who are the bad people? What do these people stand for? And a courtroom can provide that to an author and to an audience to feel their way through this society, this imaginary world, and decide who they believe in and what's good and what's bad in this universe that's being created.
Yeah. Wow. Michael Beacon. That's I didn't know that she got fired from that show because she worked on the Wild Cards novels. Weird. The show Heroes. Wow, that sure ripped it off. Wild Cards were those first couple novels were pretty good, but well, yeah. So I just found this episode thoroughly engrossing. I love the ideas. I love again. One of the great things about Trek is they don't have to save the universe every episode. They don't have to.
Nope.
Fight a monster every episode. They don't have to fire a phaser every episode. You can do wonderful Trek in whichever series we're speaking of at its best, and you could do wonderful Trek that is just a conversation. Mm-hmm. This episode is a conversation, and how it fits into so many misfires that we've been running into in that first and second season. I don't know, but it. At this point, at least when you see this, especially in 1988 or whatever it was, you go, wow, maybe there's some hope for this show, which we've said it a couple of times. There were some other episodes we've liked so far, but not compared to how many we have,
Yeah.
So this was definitely another sign that
of getting out of the bog.
Yes.
For some people, it's a matter of honor. A matter of honor is when you are fully out of the bog, you are wiping off your legs from the fetid matter, and you are nearly on the road. And then, of course, for others, it is the measure of a man. These two are defining in getting out of the bog that is the first season, that is multiple face palm worthy.
I threw you a rope, I pulled you out, but every now and then I'm just going to push you back in again, number one. So you're going to... that's basic. Now, if we're using that bog analogy, you're going to be sinking a lot.
I know.
You got a lot of sinking to go. So
we do.
You have notes?
I do have notes. So if you are unfamiliar with this format, I'm a weird nerd. I've been watching over 657 hours of Star Trek every single year, starting at January 1st, ever since it was technically possible. So when Clobby asked me to do this show with him, I decided that I was going to take notes, and that's how I would provide my review, so that my review could be fresh. So I take notes for the episodes for this show, and I'm going to read them now. Sometimes they're hysterical, and sometimes they will make you Jean-Luc Picard facepalm. So here we have it. Philippa and Jean-Luc have much the same relationship as Shaw and Kirk in Court Martial, season 1, episode 20. The fact that Data doesn't use contractions, and that is a big debate amongst Trekkies. It rages on, of course, in this episode, because the writers and staff did overlook the contraction issue in this episode. I am neither going to make an argument for or against the Data contraction argument. When Riker tries to skip over Data's service record and commendations, Snodgrass again borrows from Court Martial. And then I have, why wouldn't Maddox just study up on Dr. Graves or Dr. Colby? And of course, when we're talking about Dr. Colby, we're going back to 2266 in What Are Little Girls Made Of? Or the Normans, or the Barbaras, or the Alices in 2268. So in 2266 and in 2268, we clearly have the work of Dr. Graves and Dr. Corby, and of course, the Normans, the Barbaras, the Alices. So it wasn't necessary to take Data apart. I love, of course, the line that says Data is not a toaster, because I used to do a Battlestar Galactica review with some friends, and I know Arwen has replaced me on that show, so I thought she would love that as well. Data is not a toaster. Well, certainly not. He wouldn't be a toaster, and he also wouldn't be a skin job, right, Arwen? The bent metal, of course, is a goof. We see that Data bends the metal fully slowly, and then the metal begins to unbend itself throughout the episode as the courtroom unfolds. And then I just put in my final notes here, aside from the long history of Starfleet's exposure and contact to and with androids, this being a continuity issue, I believe this episode is excellent writing. And that's all I have in my notes, sir.
Yes, it really is. It's excellent, and it's just one of these episodes that I can watch over. And it's funny, we love the adventure stuff too. We love the action stuff is great too. But the thing is, when you do something like this, it is pretty tough to not be boring. And they never are boring. And I've seen other episodes, which we will talk about, where it's just sitting around talking, but nothing is happening. Their conversation is limp or it's lame. In this, it's all on point. I don't understand how they were able to do something like that in the midst of where we are with the series right now, but they did. They managed to make great drama out of it.
Yep.
Some of the concepts, even the conversation between Picard and Guinan about this, the interactions between he and Philippa are really nice. I really like that actress.
Yeah, she's starting to shine now, isn't she? And of course, many people involved with Star Trek claim to have been a fan previously, but obviously Whoopi Goldberg was actually a fan and had to call Gene Roddenberry just to get on the show, because of course the producers wouldn't call her back because they thought she was kidding when she said she wanted to be on the show. So here we're seeing her really showing her acting chops. She's really beginning to shine, and she gives excellent performances every time as Guinan, and she's just a welcome addition to the show as well. Of course, the entire idea of being able to have a bar and go talk to a bartender. Yes. Gene Roddenberry's idea, by the way. And he said, if I'm going to have a bartender, I want a hell of a good looking bartender. I want an amazing bartender. And then of course, when he found out Whoopi would do it, he was blown away.
Well, she really, as you say, she's really coming into her own as a character at this point. This episode just, oh my God. It's funny how it's just one long string of ideas debated very intelligently. And I think that, again, what is one of the things Star Trek does best is ask questions.
Yeah.
Not necessarily always answer them, although it does answer them kind of a bit in this one, but it asks questions and it discovers things. And, are we creating a form of life? And if so, are we enslaving it? This is created, this thing was created by a human. And now as our great buddy Steve Mitchum, I don't think he's here. He may talk a lot. He sent me a text because he couldn't hear. He couldn't make it. And he talked about how, and this is not really covered in the episode, but he was talking about some arguments Picard could have made. And some of them were basically, it's a long list of things. I can't really read it all, but he was basically talking, Data chose to join Starfleet. He wasn't bought by Starfleet. He wasn't forced to join it. He did it on his own. There's individual choice right there.
Mm-hmm.
He's not property because he decided to do something. He decided to join Starfleet. He didn't have to. No one forced him to.
Yep.
And so
it's this whole idea of that everyone has a very idiosyncratic idea of what being sentient is. What makes you what is it? And we grapple with that when we're thinking and working and doing with animals. There are many people that say, where do you draw the line with dolphins? Where do you draw the line with whales? And we see this, it's a reoccurring theme in Star Trek, they're trying to uncover, they're trying to help us question, and certainly not in a didactic way. They're not over moralizing and deciding for us. Nobody's taking out the large Marge sledgehammer to condemn us, but at the same time, they're asking us, they're petitioning us to reconsider what a life form is and how what's going to happen when AI gets to that point. So it's very, very interesting material.
And probably amongst the greatest of Picard's speeches, and there are many of them. Look, again, I have a lot of problems with what the actor has done. And he's not my favorite captain by any stretch of the imagination. But one of the things, when well written, that he's great at, and that Mr. Stewart, I think, does do a wonderful job at, is giving these speeches and this was a wonderful piece of acting on his part, especially the whole thing, but of course, but especially in the courtroom. That's for me, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I will ask you now, number one, and for anyone new here, what we do is I'm going to get number one's rating of the episode. Then I will give mine, and then I will ask you all, my wonderful friends, if you so choose, to give your rating and any comments you'd like to make about the episode. But first, let me get this. Number one, what is your rating of The Measure of Man?
Well, I'm going to reiterate my same point about 2266, Dr. Graves and Dr. Corby, and 2268. Certainly, we could have gone to the Normans. And, when we talk about Shaw and Kirk, all of that said, these are small continuity issues. And certainly during a writer's strike, it's amazing that they were even able to make something of this quality. I'm also not too pleased with Patty Stew. Not my favorite person, but this is about TNG, and so this one is an A+ for me. I've always thought of this as a very highly rated episode, and certainly if you can roll it back and be incredibly honest with yourselves. In 1989, this was a gobsmacking episode. It pushed you backwards onto your chair, and you sort of fell into your chair thinking about the ramifications of the issues that it raises. So just excellent performance. Snodgrass is great at writing here. I don't think she overuses the Shaw and Kirk court-martial thing. Certainly, you get that little nod again, which they would probably call an Easter egg nowadays when Riker tries to skip over data service records. So there's nothing here that is stepping on my toes. We're not betraying Gene Roddenberry's Bible, so I'm happy with that, because these are just short little tastes, and it's quite lovely because it seems respectful. So yeah, A+, Captain, A+.
I also give it an A+. This is as top notch as you can get in terms of being really true to the spirit of Star Trek and the wonder of Star Trek and what Star Trek is all about. Asking us questions, delving into serious philosophical issues that sometimes you can only do on a science fiction show that is set in the far-flung future, and it does it so well sometimes. Captain is Decorator Replicant Spock. Hello there. Good to see you, my friend.
Good evening.
And now, everyone, please give us your ratings. And I always appreciate when you wait for it, because it helps me out with the chat a little. Your ratings and any comments you may have. We have an early one there. The Catman, aka Dee Dee Myers. Hello, Catman. It's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. I give this episode an A+, says the Catman. Let's see here. Resvagam, also an A+. Oh, did I hit it right? I'm sorry. This chat jumps on me, everyone. So A+ sounds right to me. Thank you,
Oh, lovely.
I'm going to learn how to pronounce that. It takes me a while sometimes. Resvergam. So please, bear with me. The great Lord Thoth, A, and he gives it an A.
Wow. The great Scrooge McDuck has given an A. The great Lord Thoth, LT, has given an A, folks.
A indeed, absolutely. And I'm with you there, Lord Thoth, buddy. LT. As a tireless soldier against human trafficking, the debate on sentience and property has always been at the heart of humanity. The ep is one of my top 5 best STNG eps. Absolutely. All of time, IDIC. Yes, absolutely.
Lovely.
Absolutely, LT. It is great. I really do.
And you know what, LT? I have to say to you, as a friend of yours, that I'm happy that you finally got to enjoy an episode.
Yes. Always like it. LT. I can't wait till LT. I want to hear LT critique our top 25s.
It's gonna be brutal. And Mirror Universe LT will be there, I hope, which is of course the great Mark D with a C.
Of course. And by the way, before we get to the next one, I'm glad you reminded me of that, because Mark D with a C is not with us at the moment, folks, but he did send me his review. The great Mark D with a C, everyone, gives it an A++.
Dun, 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 dun.
Best of Trek. exemplifies how good sci-fi writing gets you to think about fundamental questions of existence. Picard's speech about the rights of beings is what IDIC represents. Now we know that TNG is here to stay, and the bald captain with the British accent ain't so bad. Yes. Thank you, the great Mark D with a C.
Yep.
Kal-El, our good buddy Kal-El, 48 says, A+ from the performances of the actors to the concepts discussed. This is Trek at its finest, a morality play that intelligently presents both sides of an issue. I'm so with you there.
And an exemplification of science fiction. Often people are call upon my education for me to define the difference between science fiction and science fantasy. And I'm always telling them, science fiction, it must be rooted in truth, in possibility, and human beings grappling with futurism, with technology. And here we see this. It is an exemplification of that insofar as it is both. It's grappling with all of those great science fiction issues. So great comment.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. The great Scuba Pete, A- or 5 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5 holographic Tashas. One of my favorite Data episodes. Who knew he had that kind of yarring? The great Scuba Pete. We can always count on you.
I love you, Scuba Pete.
The great Phantom Outsider. B-. It was very annoying. One Starfleet admitted data to one. I'm sorry, I'm going too fast sometimes. Sorry, folks. One, Starfleet admitted data to the Academy. Two, they gave data a commission. They do that a lot. Those two facts should have been enough as proof. Does any other equipment have a one? Okay. Yeah. So I'm having trouble seeing this thing. Let me move my screen back. I will get to your second one as soon as I can find it there, Phantom, because I'm not seeing it. It just takes a while. I've got a lot of them there. So bear with me, buddy. Captain. Let's see here. Captain James D. Skywalker. A. Like the judge in the story, the viewer gets to make up their own mind about android life forms. I find Data's ethical program concerning because he does not work, though his own ethics. Oh, man, I hate when it continues. It's tough for me to get his own ethics. Let's see. He does not work though his own, maybe he's through his own ethics.
Yeah, I think so.
Rather, they are thrust upon him, and he has no choice about them. Even with those concerns, I believe that Data should have his rights and freedoms. Raquel, very sweet of you to care for dear Clobby. Yeah. She doesn't like me. She's
so many people. There were 14 people involved in that, and each and every single one of those people is just an amazing, amazing person. And like I said, I hope it inspires other people to do the same thing, because everyone in Louisiana, no matter who they are, deserves to have that type of safety and security.
Thank you for that one, Captain. Appreciate that one so much, and thank you, Raquel. RN Feliciano, A+. For once, P-Stew proved he could act as he sought as he sought to save his friend from the literal scrap heap. More character development on Data. Classic episode on what is life. Yep. Absolutely.
And if you're just joining us and you're not a part of our community, Raymond is an author. And Raymond and I agree on Patty Stew's performance. Not always shining and wonderful. So love those comments, Raymond.
Indeedishness. Enigmatic drop bear.
Good evening.
A+. This episode elevated TNG to awesome. It is a great example of how to incorporate metaphysics into allegory that discusses individual liberty and the treatment of minorities. Indeedishness. A well-written story and now established ensemble combined with clever guest casting and great acting brought a gravitas to the episode that made it a joy to watch.
Yeah.
I
Enigmatic drop bear, I always love your comments. Keep those coming.
Absolutely. Indeedishness. Let's see here. Snorta Pupos, A+. There are good performances all around in a solid episode, although the chemistry between Picard and the lady, how do you pronounce that?
Louvois.
Livois, and I live in Louisiana. I should know better. Seems a bit flat. P.S. Data should install a safety cover on that off switch.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I'll get your other one, Snort, when I can find it, my friend.
Good
there we
bear.
go. Gotcha. Good bear. If I have a minor quibble, it is that admitting data into Starfleet Academy. It seems that Starfleet had already ruled on his sentence. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
I think they were just that is a very valid point. Although, Starfleet, they're not perfect either. They went ahead and decided to contradict themselves and to your point is valid, but then again, that's why Picard wins the case.
Yep. And we have to let the episode stand alone. We have to allow it to just be on its own. We have to step outside of the story and not really look too much to continuity. Because of course, Maddox, if you're really looking for some really high-end writing that would be worthy of something, say like Carl Sagan or Isaac Asimov, we probably would have had Maddox perusing the computer, wondering what type of imprint or what type of effect Graves had, and then of course discussing that transhumanism, and that would have probably been far more intriguing for Maddox. But we have to let this episode just stand by itself.
Yeah, it stands as a great piece of entertainment. But look, you can pick anything apart, and I understand you for sure. Mega Cropper, hello there, good to see you. B+ for Mega Cropper, and we've got Wolfie. Wolfie says rating A, and there it sits.
Yes.
Mr. iRobot Goes to Washington. We have heard the story of its is our machine sentient before, but that's okay. Yes, of course we have. Not the first time, no question about it. And so oops, there we go. Let's see here. Some fantastic courtroom drama. Let's see, I had to write something down. Sorry. The size of that Star Trek TNG TWOC space station model still makes me. I guess they made them bigger.
Look, and whenever they needed it, just flipped them upside down.
Yeah. Yep. They just flipped them upside down.
That's right. Save money.
Eric K says, "Hey, finally, this show is something to watch, just like the great TOS episode when Kirk was on trial to be court-martialed. Yeah, against the machine. This one is the machine against the man.
Yes.
They rip off TOS, but in a good way, and it works. Yes, and they only do minor elements, not like it's the same exact plot.
Yep.
It would be different if they'd done something where, again, the whole thing with Ben Finney and all that other stuff.
Yes.
I'd be all over it. But this is just like, they're hardly the first show to ever do like a courtroom drama.
Yep.
So many.
Yep.
I've done
Eric, love you. Love your comment, and I totally agree. Love you, Eric.
The Bronze Surfer. You the man, Eric.
Captain Spock. I'm not going to read his middle name. It's too crazy for me. Captain Spock at 6 minutes past the hour. I absolutely love this comment. Consciousness is definitely overrated.
Indeed. Is Data a replicant? Copy? Just let me know. Get back to me on that one.
Head desk.
No.
Head desk.
Phantom Outsider, I believe this is your second one here, man. I finally found it. Sorry about that, bro. Commission. I was sorry it's leaving it like that, but I couldn't find it for a while there, Phantom. Data, by the way, of compensation should have been given his own fleet of ships and been allowed to disassemble, but Maddox and maybe disassemble Maddox and the defective Wesley. It's only fair after all. Oh, also the judge.
Where's the Decker unit when you need them?
Yes, indeed. Michael Beacom, A+. This is as good as TNG gets. No phaser fire, no explosions, or technobabble, Deus Machina. Yeah. Just great concept, great writing, supported by great performances. Gave me hope for the series. You're not alone there, sir. Let's see here. Thoth will be growing goatee for the 25 episodes. Indeed. Your agonizer, please.
Yes.
Max Redstone. A plus. This was like elementary, my dear data, when TNG truly explored and expanded possibilities and the deeper dimensions of its own universe. Life and limb were at stake without phasers or torpedoes. Very well said, Max. Appreciate you.
Nice one, Max.
The wonderful Feliciano Sandra. Hello, Sandra. Thank you, Sandra. A for Sandra. The exploration of what makes someone a sentient individual with rights and the idea of enslaving a new race never occurred to them. Were the concepts ignored or foreign to their society? Don't know.
Excellent comment, Sandra Feliciano, a great friend of our channel, and just a generous and wonderful friend. I love you, Sandra. Thank you.
Resvigame, that is true. The Orville did do a really great something of a similar morality play with the Borders episode, which about a boy or whatever it was.
Yep. About a girl.
Great episode about a girl. Sorry, about a boy. Listen to me. Boy, that was the movie. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Here we go. Here we go. You ready? Number one, we have our wonderful friend, Anti-Derivative Jill.
Oh, hey, gorgeous.
Before I get to that one, since this one's before, let me do this real quick.
Okay.
Since that's a multi-parter. The great Just Joe 47, A plus. Great. I only have a minor nitpick with how Riker became the other liar, but it did result in the great moment when he used Data's off switch to prove his case. Just a top 5 TNG episode. I agree with that. And at the time, it was the only it kind of added conflict to the drama, I thought there, if you will, Joe, because I don't know. I just thought that was kind of probably a good idea to have it if it was just some other. Just some other schmuck. I mean, it would have probably these were two people who cared about Data, and I thought that I kind of like that aspect of the episode. But I hear you.
Yep.
Anti-Derivative Jill, take it away. Number one.
Well, hello, gorgeous, my fellow nerd. And if you're listening at home and you're not participating in this as though it's like a TV show, instead you're listening to it just purely as a podcast, I'm going to be reading a 6-parter from a great friend to this channel, Anti-Derivative Jill. She has done a 6-parter and she's giving this episode an A+. And Jill says this. This leads me to question where real AI is headed and causes me to both cheer and worry for our future in regards to life man will inevitably create. What more could I want from Star Trek or science fiction, Jill? What a great comment. 2 of 6. Jill says, the poker scene plays into developing Data's character as someone who can possess all the knowledge and strategy of poker and yet still miss the nuances of the emotion that is often needed to win. Lovely, Jill. 3 of 6, she says, antagonistic characters like Philippa and Maddox are even well done, and they don't just cause blockades for the sake of it. Yes, Jill, that's that wonderful writing. It's so well wrought, isn't it? Jill says 4 out of 6. Great sci-fi dialogue occurs when Data tells Maddox he hasn't achieved enough in research to warrant the drastic measures and fears losing consciousness in, his ineffable quality. Yes. 5 of 6. Perhaps the only part that makes little sense is hiring Riker as the plaintiff's defense, given the conflict of interest he has as Data's friend who doesn't believe him to be just a machine. 6 of 6. She says, even still, I love it anyway, because it gives great drama to the situation where Riker has to sacrifice his beliefs and argue against Data's rights in order to help save them simultaneously. Jill, what can I say? I always love your comments. We got to get together at a con one day. You and I are just going to talk one another's ears off. I love your participation here. Great comments. And Riker doesn't have any training as a lawyer. And I don't think it's enough to just say that they're understaffed and no one's there. Then put off the trial. Put it off.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's probably what they should do, because apparently they needed 2 flag officers, and I guess that admiral must have already left because there was him.
Yep.
Apparently he must have already went on his merry way, I guess.
Yep.
The wonderful Katie Carr gives it a solid A. The epitome of the basic rights of human alien life. The speeches alone take this episode to the next level. Pure writing talent to translate an important message lost in today's TV. Yep. Very nicely said.
Love you, Katie.
Katie, we love you. Captain James T. Skywalker. Ops. I have another comment. Riker showed more depth to his character. His concern for Data was smooth. Yeah, I'm with you there too. I think he did. I think he did show a lot more.
I love your avatar, Captain James T. Skywalker.
Yeah,
it's a great avatar.
Great. I think we may have everyone now. I think.
Boss man.
Yes.
I beg your pardon, Captain. Jill just wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up, and she says,
sure,
but some contrivances are fine and even preferable when it's such a great story. And I have to say that I feel the exact same way, Jill, and I think so does most of the chat, where you're willing to put some of those plot holes or inconsistencies to the side and just enjoy it as a standalone episode. It may have continuity errors. It may have a little tiny irksome questions, but a lot of time, we have to be fair. It's because we've been watching this stuff since 1989. I've literally been watching this episode every year since 1989. That's a sickness. And you can see things that you wouldn't have seen in 1989. In 1989, I was so blown away by the science fiction concepts and this idea of where we're going with AI that, the thought didn't occur to me. That's something that's developed as I've become more and more chronic, as the sickness has deepened.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just say, well, number one was talking about various things, and we've all talked about different continuity gaps that they have over the years, contradicting themselves, or like when we say, well, what about this happened in this episode back then that they totally forgot about? Yes, they totally forgot about it, because this is not, and they don't have any Nelson Bridwell. They used to have an Eddie Egan, and I forget the other guy's name. There was a Star Trek archivist at Paramount, but he didn't have any power over the shows. So, and there was a guy named B. Nelson Bridwell at DC Comics who was such a stickler as an editor. And remember, editors have power.
Yes.
And the slightest continuity screw up, except when Bob Haney did it, he would be all over it. And he would not allow it. He was such an encyclopedia, had such encyclopedic knowledge of DC lore at that time. Well, they never had that as an editor or a producer or anything like that on Star Trek, where they would go, when they see a script, and go, oh, wait a minute, you guys didn't see this episode of the original series or whatever, where they did this? That doesn't work. Just didn't happen. And what are you going to do? So,
yeah, and that's the power of editors, and you have to have them around, and I think that writers should come from all disciplines. I've studied many forms of writing, and one form of writing that I've never studied is script writing. Just never interested me. Although I've studied every other form of poetry and prose, I've never been interested in screenwriting, and but it does. Clobby, further to your point, it does expose the value of having different types of writers around and editors around to make sure that you're filling in those gaps, and you're saying, okay, let's insert this line here so that we don't have this continuity error here, and let's do this here, and it'd be great if we used them all the time, wouldn't it, Clobby?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Fan Outsider, sometimes why I miss these things, not just because I'm blind. You always have the number at the end of your write-up. Try to put the numbers at the beginning, like 1 of 3, whatever. That helps me if you could do that for me, my brother, because sometimes I pass something and I don't see a number at the front. Then maybe that's just another, because I can't. If we'd be here all night if I was able to. So if you would do that, brother. But anyway, he says, way too snotty for her own good. You don't go condemning sentient beings to slavery and be flippant about it. She shouldn't have been allowed to continue her law. Yep. If there's one after that, I don't know about it, man. But sorry about that. But yes, I see. I'm not the only one that knows Mr. Bridwell, continuity cop. I don't know how he let Bob Haney get away with what he did, but that's that's a topic for Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk.
Yeah, Captain James T. Skywalker is just winning friends and just fitting right into this community. Whomever you are, fine sir, welcome. Just love your comments. And one of my favorite people, Scuba Pete, at 16 minutes past the hour says, Picardy Mason. Really funny, Scuba Pete. I love it.
Yep. Well, everyone, I think we're ready to get on to our next episode. We need to, because that was one I think that deserved some time.
Yep.
because it's just when you get on one like that, you have to take your time with it. It's that good.
You do.
So let's see here. Sorry about that. Okay, so who is ready to move on to the next episode? Now, every time I miss something, everyone, just let me know, because that happens. Let's see here. It's tough to see all these chats or whatever. Let's see here. Are we ready for the next one, number one?
We are.
Okay, go for
we're
it.
moving on to the Dauphine, or if you don't speak French, it's just dolphin. And so, Raymond Feliciano. I mean, you got all the dolphin you could ever want right here. And to keep us copyright compliant, let's revisit this idea that I will be reading excerpts, certainly not the entire thing, just an excerpts this evening, from Star Trek 365, The Next Generation, written by Paula M. Block. She gets a little bit of help here from her husband, Terry J. Erdman. And of course, this book is christened by the great Ronald D. Moore. It's a brick of a book. It's kind of ugly, and it has a bad spine. Gorgeous pictures inside, excellent information, but it is a cinder block. I'm going to be reading from it extemporaneously, and we are on brick or block number 91, The Dauphine, Season 2, Episode 10, first aired February 20th, 1989. The Enterprise ferries Celia, a 16-year-old girl, and Anya, her overprotective guardian, to the troubled planet she is meant to rule. Celia and Wesley immediately hit it off, but Anya is fiercely determined to keep them apart. Troy senses that there is something odd about the two women, but nothing quite as odd as what Wesley discovers when he and Celia attempt to meet in secret. Morphing software, which allows a visual effects artist to make two pictures and seamlessly change one into the other as if it were transforming before your eyes, is common today. But it didn't exist in early 1989 when the Dauphine was in production. Thus, as is his wont, Dan Curry resorted to using a few old-fashioned low-tech methods in order to create the high-tech effects required for this episode. For all the transformations, including Anya's morph into Celia's fuzzy little playmate, depicted opposite in this ad slick that Paramount Domestic Television distributed to the syndicated stations that carried TNG. Wow, that's a really long parenthetical there, Paula. And just if you're listening here at home, in the book, it does show all of the slides that were used for that to the right of this passage. We did a paint morph, literally hand animating the transformation frame by frame, explains Curry. I had done something similar a few years earlier in Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6, using oil paintings and quick dissolves for the stages of the transformation. In this case, I asked the late Steve Price, a terrific artist and animator, to do it on a digital paint system. We shot a lockdown plate of the actress Patty Edwards, and then one of the person wearing the Alosomorph costume, Cindy Sorensen, and then a clean plate with no actors. Then Steve did a halfway digital painting using elements from both characters, and then kept doing in-betweens until the transition was the correct length. The same episode, rather than creating virtual asteroids for the sequence in which Wesley takes Celia on a holographic visit to Rousseau 5, Curry actually went shopping for them. All of the asteroids were pieces of lava rock, the kind you use in your garden, that I bought at a local building supply place, he says. I took a bucket and carefully selected each rock for its appropriateness. And an asteroid, one of the guys working in the supply yard, got very curious, watching me pick up these things one at a time. Well, yeah, I would too. Finally, he came over and said, "Hey, man, I've never seen anyone so particular about the rocks as you." When I explained what they were for, I wasn't sure if he thought I was crazier than he had in the first place. And there's some more of that weird writing Paula does sometimes. And then in the on the next tile 93, it says, they also serve who only stand and wait, John Milton, on his blindness. And then, of course, she says, or lie. and she has a photograph of Wesley Crusher lying on a bio bed. And that is all the block text has to say about the Dauphine. What did you think of the coverage, and what did you think of the episode, Captain?
Interesting coverage. The episode, though, well, the coverage was more interesting than the episode, to be honest, for me. I'm afraid I took you out, and you got all nice and showered and cleaned off from the bog, and then I pushed you back in.
Yes,
You did. I said, hey, look at that. Number one, look at that. And you said, oh, what? I said, go take a look. And then you walked right into it. So gullible. No, I don't know. Look, I'm kind of kidding around. I just think the episode was one of those. Hello there, Canadian Spider-Man. Good to see you, buddy.
Yes, and Canadian Spider-Man, I just wanted to thank you on air, as I've been thanking everyone who was involved in Clobby's fundraiser that I forced upon him. I absolutely love you, Steve, and thank you so much for supporting me and helping me to do that for Clobby. You're the best.
Oh, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. To be honest with you, there are way worse episodes. It's sort of kind of falls back to some of the ones. You know how some of those ones I was telling you, like, it's tough for me to work up a whole lot of emotion one way or the other. Just like the episode happened and it was made, and then when I watched it, and I was like, I got nothing out of it. I mean, I've seen episodes that have angered me more. The great Eric K says Clobby was happy finally another episode with some Wesley as the main. Do not tell anyone I told you. It's a secret. Your secret is safe with us, buddy.
I love you, Eric.
I'm not saying it didn't have any interest. Well, yeah, I'm saying it didn't have any interest. I'm just saying I get kind of the idea of what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were trying, I guess. There's a lot more ridiculous episodes. Even Wesley's been far more, let's be honest, he's been far more annoying than this, but he was pretty annoying with him, going after this girl when he was told not to. And it's just kind of, I don't know. It's boring. To be honest with you, there are times that I really don't have a lot of severe criticisms other than kind of just being dull, if you know what I'm saying. And of course, the scene with that Elastomorph when in the sick bay was pretty silly.
Kill it.
Yeah. Here we go.
Kill the patient.
Thank you, Canadian Spider-Man, bro. I really appreciate you, Mike. Yeah, a little bit. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away is all I'm going to say.
The Lord giveth, and then the Lord kicketh thou into the bog.
Yes. Yes. I think Captain James T. Skywalker wonders about the Steve song because he is a Steve himself.
You are a Steve. I did not know that.
Private chat.
Okay, now I'm going to make a totally horrible Canadian joke. The singing will be bad. It's intended to be bad, and it's an inside joke. So here it is, folks. These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know.
There you go. And she knows, too. Catman pretty much covers it. I didn't give this episode always for me to sleep. Look, I tried to review this one. I tried to watch it 3 different times and fell asleep, to be perfectly honest with you. And the only thing that's kind of really sticks out as asinine was the way Wesley acted when he found out she was an Elastomorph too. I'm like, yeah, you live in the 24th century. Yes, he came around at the end there and was nice to her, but like, you're being a jackass to this poor girl who has to go and live her own life, doesn't get to make her own choices. She's kind of a slave, really. Mm-hmm. And you're being a jagoff to her. When she could make herself look that cute, I don't know. Yeah, Wesley, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
So we have some notes.
We do. First of all, I'd just like to start my notes by saying, so I start off by saying, and this, keep in mind, my notes are written in pencil. So much Wesley. Cue the Wesley ticker, please, Captain. This just in.
Yes.
This just in. Breaking news. Yes. Wesley sucks. News,
everyone. Oh my goodness, I forgot. This just in. We have a CLOBBERIN Times news alert. I repeat, Clobbering Times News Alert. This is Walter Croncrotch.
I mean, started as a self-insert. I get it. Self-inserts never work. Don't do that. It's the worst thing you can do in public. And then what's worse is when your staff begin to suck up to you or suck up to your image or just anything you like by then milking the stupid self-insert. So that will end my rant on Wesley. Then, of course, we have in my notes, I always make this joke because, of course, it reminds me of it because of the morph. I love the morph here, and it matters to me. It also matters to anyone who grew up in the 1970s like I did. So, salt vampire alert, salt vampire alert. And, of course, you guys remember that beautiful morph in the man trap. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Then in my notes, I have Worf explaining Klingon love mating rituals. I put love/mating rituals equals hysterical. The famous Riker play on Guinan. So funny. And I love it when Guinan just turns and looks at Wesley and goes, "Shut up, kid." That's a great moment.
That was a good moment.
And then, of course, for all of you TOSers out there, I wrote peace bride alert, because, of course, it's just like Clobby said earlier, this poor Allosamorph is a peace bride, even if she tends to look like a salt vampire every now and then. Maybe he could just send her to have her waxed. He didn't have to be so mean. Love? What? How? How do these two love each other? When did this happen? And then, of course, my next note is he gave her chocolate mousse. She gave him puberty. And that is the end of my notes. And before we go any further, I would just like to ask Wolfie, to please pull out the poop Zamboni. The poop Zamboni is required because this episode is...
Resvagam, I agree with you. And when you can be worse than Adric, when Adric died, at least he got killed. I gave a Death of Adric party at the comic shop I ran at the time. And when we were sponsors of Doctor Who in our shop, and I still gave a Death of Adric party, and it pissed off the local Doctor Who group, and they were mad at me for it. Screw them. And if it had been Wesley had died, there would have been a Death of Wesley party. Of course, I'd never shop. Plug it later. So yeah, worse than Adric is saying something. If there are those who know Adric, let's see here. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and rate this episode. Yeah, and to be honest with you, you're in trouble when the only thing. No, that I didn't own that shop. That was a shop I was actually running at the time. I owned one later, thoughts. So just want to.
The harassment never ends. You guys are always picking on my wonderful captain as his commanding officer.
We reach Resvagam. The only thing mildly interesting, I think, was the dynamic between Worf and the old lady. I thought that was a couple of those scenes with the old lady kind of, squaring off on Worf, and that end scene when they kind of talk about, that's okay, kind of, she kind of respect each other, but it's poo poo. Baldric, yes. Adric, no. Aldric, not no. Baldric's on Blackadder. Adric's Doctor Who. Spidey.
And you have to be careful when you say Baldric for this episode, because the first thing you would think of would be Worf's Klingon sash, which is also called the Baldric.
Not me. When you first called that a Baldric, I thought, and I always, when I hear Baldric, I think Blackadder. I didn't know what a Baldric was outside of Blackadder, and I can hear Rowan Atkinson saying Baldric. Or Baldric saying something like, "Oh dear, if you want something done, kill Baldric before you start."
It is something that a hero, or like not a hero, but like a high-ranking military person would wear, or whatever. Wolfie, Wolfie has just announced that the poop Zamboni is driving down the hall. The poop Zamboni is on its way, folks. The poop Zamboni is on its way.
Hail, Steve Mitchum, and hail, Parrothead.
Oh, Steve Mitchum. Good evening, fine sir. Kiss Maddie for me, please.
Indeed. I'll ask you for your rating, and then I will I'll give mine, and I'll ask our chat.
Well, boss, I think you know how I feel. I've deployed the raspberries. I have brought in the poop zambonis. This is a C minus with prejudice, even though it makes me feel good about my beloved salt vampire and that wonderful morph in the man trap that blew our minds in the 70s when we were kids. It just blew our minds, and certainly for those folks who actually watched it the first time it aired.
Indeedishness.
Yep.
I'm giving it a D for dull. Again, to be fair, there are way worse episodes, but when it takes me like 3 attempts to review it, even though I'd seen it before at some point, to sit there and try to watch it again the other day. Yeah. I mean, I know I'm old and tired, but geez. So there you go. And now our good friends, and we have an early one here. So please feel free to put what you're rating and and your comments you have on the Dolphin. Let's see here. Just Joe 47C. There was a decent idea here, and I was surprised with the twist with the girl when I first saw it. Anytime Wesley gets dumped by a shape-shifting monster, can't be all bad. And you're right, there is a line by Guinan saying, "Shut up, kid." So
yeah, I love that review, Just Joe. That's great.
Indeed, can't argue with that.
That's a great review. That's a perfect review.
The Catman, aka Dee Myers. And I hope if I miss anyone, I try not to miss them, but it happens sometimes, folks. I give it a D+. Thought the story sucked and thought it could have been written better. Well, I can't blame you.
Love you, Dee Myers.
Indeed. Michael Beacom, D-. Like a sample platter of the worst TNG. Add the holodeck trying to kill them and had a QX Machina, and it would be complete. Bad concept, bad execution, not even bad enough to be notable. Good point. The great Lord Thoth. D. This episode wasn't bad, wasn't good. Meh. It was not top 10er, forgettable, not even hot chicks in it. Well, I mean, the girl she's probably way older than she's playing, and a cute girl, but no. Look, you're not getting defense out of me, buddy.
As was the case for most of us who grew up in the 70s, just so everyone knows. Usually, like when you watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you knew everyone in the show was 25 or 30 years old.
Yeah.
No one was in high school, but yeah.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, Clobby.
Yeah. No, gotcha. I'm with you there. Raven Feliciano, D, 3 out of 5 raspberries. As King Dolphin, I take offense to Wesley being in any episode with my name. Wesley is so unlucky in love. How is he the bestest ever?
Yeah.
The flirting scene was priceless. Yeah, with the Riker Guinan thing.
The Riker Guinan thing.
It was kind of fun. Although, wasn't Riker aiding and abetting when he says, I want to get to know her? Didn't he know that they weren't supposed to go and mess with the kid? Like, no, stay away from her, Wesley. You're an idiot.
Yeah, the whole story just sucks. It just sucks. It's
dull stuff. Scuba Pete, C-. Raquel, please sing the Katy Perry. Katy Perry scale. Wesley, go for it.
I don't even know that song.
Wesley kissed a hairy girl, and he liked it.
Yeah,
that's even I know what that song is, and I don't know why I do because I don't know anything about Katy Perry.
But
D+.
He could wax her. Maybe that could have been their first date. Maybe he just could have taken her for a waxed her back. Honey, you're so hot, I want to wax your back.
Wesley, let's be fair now. Wesley did do something heroic in this episode, and that was he showed her that maybe being a slave on some crappy planet wouldn't be so bad as to having to spend the rest of her life with a jackass like Wesley. So she probably said, I could either hang with you on the Enterprise, but you're really annoying and you're a punk. I'll go hang out with those aliens that are going to use me for their damn war. Well, D+ from Resvigam. Cliched, overwrought, and full of Wesley. With you there. Too much Wesley.
That was just so perfect. That was just perfect. It just got right to the point.
Snorter Poopers Cuber, 1 of 2, C-. Oh goody, a Wesley-oriented episode. Said no one ever. and And if you want to cool down a moment of teenage passion, a Super Soaker would do just as well as turning into an angry, bug-eyed furry. Oh dear, oh
Oh,
dear.
you brought up furry. You're a bad bear.
I can't find your second one there, Snorty, so give me a chance. I'll
Right,
get to your
Scuba
second one when I
Pete?
can find it, buddy.
Tell
Sorry, Snort.
Leslie I said hi. It's so tonight. They're so good. The chat is on fire.
Man, I can't not find it. Your second one there, Snorty. But when we get to it, I can, my friend. I'm so sorry about that. Enigmatic drop bear. 1 of 3. F. Whoa. It's a good thing we had to wait a week between episodes. Otherwise, the precipitous descent, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
from measure to this could have caused a significant mental injury. I've already been mental injured while I was reading that. Sorry. Bop, 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 bop. Oh, I see you right there, Snort. I'll get to it, man. Sorry. This lazy Cinderella knockoff was not just bad because Wesley makes for a shockingly bad prince. The story pacing was stilted. Yes. In particular, the Anya character was all over the place. Absolutely. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I butchered your your fine writing there, Enigmatic Drop Bear. I do that sometimes. I try to go too fast. Wesley's gift to say, was it Celia before she left the Enterprise looked like something that can't be polished, which sums up this episode very nicely. Absolutely.
Take your matted pet elsewhere. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
The second port of Snorts was I have one question. Is Celia a dolphin or the heir to the throne of France? That's a good question. I'm afraid even I just don't know. Let's see. Khalil, 48. D. A severe dip in quality in terms of storytelling, especially given the previous episode. But the morph effect was pretty impressive.
Yeah, right.
At the time. Yeah.
And when you think back to our beautiful salt vampire, like it gives me feels. As the cool kids, as the young kids say, as the hip kids say, gives me feels.
That's weird.
What's the matter, honey?
Let's see here. Okay, no, I'm sorry, I was having a little bit of a problem with it. Okay, here we go. Captain James T. Skywalker, 5E of 5E. Here we go. There we go. All right. 5. Let's see. Poopy diapers. Oh, it's 5 of 5 poopy diapers. Okay, that's your rating. I'm telling you like that's gonna be 5 of 5 little. See, I was confused there, Captain James. I thought that meant you were gonna write 5 chapters, but that means you're 5 out of 5 poopy diapers would be your rating, I'm guessing. Wesley wouldn't know a cute girl if he saw her. Well, Mr. Worf, have our passengers' accommodations met with their approval? I doubt if anything ever meets with that woman's approval.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
I am Klingon. I would not listen to reason.
Yeah. It's true.
Max Redstone. C. 1 of 5 bowels of chocolate mousse. I thought there should have been more interaction between Worf and Anya, or at least Wesley. It could have been punted around a little.
Yeah, like one backhand, like a really good backhand.
For that.
Oh, would have been so good.
I'm all for that one. Okay, Sandra Feliciana, number C there. Hormones raging is not love, even though chocolate can make it seem that way.
Yes.
At least one of them knew that what responsibility it is, even though there was no chocolate. Those burpees here move along. Indeed.
Love you, Sandra. Thanks.
Let's find some outsider. D. Wesley trying to get the girl was the least Wesley thing in the episode. Odd. Wesley busting out the chocolate. Did he consult Troy, her guardian, and Worf? Interaction was good. I agree with that. Wes is a failure on. That's 1. Okay. Try to put the number at the beginning. It helps me.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get
weird that he didn't like that the replicator did not make cutlery or silverware for her to eat that mousse. It was very was very sexual that she just dipped her little finger in it. And all of the young men who were watching TNG at that time probably let out a big sigh.
I hope we never know.
Yeah, I was way too old for that.
I was a little bit overage there, even at that point.
Yeah, me too.
So many levels. They waste an interesting character on the uninteresting Wesley. Good point. Wesley is useless, which is exactly what Wesley is. This episode played by Wesley's strength, uselessness. Absolutely, sir. Now we have our wonderful friend, the anti-derivative Jill. Let me make sure. Oh, we got one before that, Jill. I'm sorry. I'm backtracking.
Wolfie says her big hairy finger. Oh my God, I love this chat. Leslie, are you hearing this? Her big hairy finger. This poor woman's gonna need a full body wax.
Oh, the episode's bad enough, everybody. Eric K is in the great Eric K. C. The shapeshifter idea was great. Only problem was Wes. I hear you there.
Waiter, excuse me, waiter. There's a hair in my pudding. Scuba Pete. Scuba Pete, I love you.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Oh my God, I love you so much. I'm crying.
Canadian Spidey. Excuse me. I give it a C. I realize it's stupid, but the campy, cheesy stupidity reminded me in some strange way of the TOS don't throw eggs. Of the TOS don't throw eggs. So it gets a higher rating than it deserves. Shut up, Wesley. Enough. Indeed, the great Canadian Spider-Man buddy.
Yes.
Well, we have the great, wonderful friend, the anti-derivative Jill. So take it away, number one.
Hello, gorgeous. Okay, so anti-derivative Jill, my favorite nerd, has given us a four-parter, and she is going to rate this episode a C. And this is what Jill has to say. She says the ultimate Karen comes aboard caring for the future leader of a world whom Wesley falls so hard for that he actually exhibits some flaws and makes genuinely realistic adolescent mistakes. 2 of 4. When they portray Wes as an actual teenager, we actually get to have some fun as he asks for advice, culminating in the best flirting scene in the series with Riker and Guinan. Shut up, kid.
Good point.
3 of 4. Wes is usually tolerant of other species, so his anger at the end may seem out of character, but I think instead it shows he can become irrationally heartbroken. It gives him humanity.
That's true. That's a very good point.
4 of 4. Ultimately, while a great character study, it left something to be desired from the sci-fi angle of the show. It was kind of like a side story made into a whole episode. Yeah, it was certainly no Elan of Troyes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I totally
agree.
Very good points, Jill. Very
Very
well
good,
said.
Jill. Thank you so much for that.
Let's see here. Trying to find if we have any more. Oh, there's Wolfie. Okay, Wolfie. We've got 1 of 2 rating. D. Can we just call it the dolphin? They call her Flipper, faster than lightning. No one you see would watch this episode again. She is angry. Sorry,
oh my
God. 2 out of 2. What happened?
So funny.
Mighty Morphin. Poopin' Rangers. The poop Zamboni is here. Smear this. Oh my God! 8-foot hairy poop across 2 sectors, like Chewy with shoulder pads.
Just beautiful. Keep it coming. It's perfection. I love it.
Got another one from Phantom Outsider. So many levels. They waste an interesting character on the uninteresting Wesley. Wesley is useless, which is exactly what Wesley is in the episode play. Oh, okay, I already did that one. Sorry, my short-term memory is terrible because I have a short-term memory, I think.
Wolfie's so good.
King Dolphin TV. F. Cue up Poop Zamboni. Yes.
clean up. Clean up on episode 10.
Let's see. I think we may have everybody, but I'm checking. Let's see. I give it a pass. It gets a C from me just for nostalgia's sake. From Nirvana Max and Max Amanda Bear, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes, well, I am a senior citizen there, Parrot Head, buddy, so I guess I have an excuse.
You better have a margarita right now, Parrot Head.
He is wasting away again. And nice. Instead of a margarita, have a cheeseburger in paradise. Let's see.
I could go for a cheeseburger right now.
Oh, yeah. I like that song. Let's see. Jill, great to see you again. I think, oh, by the way, our wonderful friend Katie had to run out. We love you, Katie. We'll shout her.
Bye,
Let's
Katie. We love you, honey. How's
think-
school? You need to send me a note and update me on how university is.
Let's see. RN said, and she was amazing last night, Clobber Times. I'm not sure who you're referring to there.
I think
RN.
anti-derivative Jill, our wonderful nerdy Jill, is now wrenching for DC, for Doomcock. And
great.
I think she's just earning her ability to do that. And so everyone's giving her feedback, telling her how wonderful she is. And I agree with all of this praise. Please heap praise on Jill.
Oh, absolutely. Love you, Jill. That's great. Let's see here. Enigmatic Drunk Bear says maybe F was a bit too harsh. Andrew Derivative Jill, you're right. The Riker Guinan scene was good. Well,
Shut up, kid.
There. Hey there, Punk Waddle. It's good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Always a pleasure. Okay, let's see here. Let me see if we got everybody and are ready to move on to our next episode.
Yes, Snortapoopas, a cheeseburger and a margarita. I would just absolutely love that. And I would love to be back in Jamaica. Jamaica is one of my favorite countries. Been a couple of times. Love it there. And Captain James T. Skywalker, that is very, very kind of you to say, because you guys often make me do the ugly laugh because you say hysterical, wonderful things.
Indeed. Well, I think we got everyone for this one. Yes, a cheeseburger and a margarita. That's you could combine two Jimmy Buffett songs right there. So, for those who don't know, a Parrot Head is a Jimmy Buffett fan. At least that's what I always thought there. I don't know if Parrot Head is using that name for something else, but that's why I always make my dumb comments about wasting away in Margaritaville. Let's see here. All right. Well, we're going to move on to our next episode, ladies and gerbils.
We are. We have arrived at, excuse me, everyone. We have arrived at Contagion, Season 2, Episode 11, first aired March 20th, 1989. I'm going to be reading an excerpt from Star Trek 365, The Next Generation by Paula M. Block, with a little bit of help from her husband, Terry J. Erdman, and the blessing of the great Ronald D. Moore. We are on tile 94. Responding to a distress call issued by the USS Yamato, the Enterprise crosses into the Romulan neutral zone, arriving just in time to witness the Yamato's destruction. Although the crew initially suspects Romulan malfeasance, they quickly learn that the explosion of the ship, a Galaxy-class vessel like the Enterprise, was triggered by widespread computer malfunctions. Retracing the Yamato's most recent course, the crew finds itself at a legendary planet, Iconia, home to the long-dead civilization of advanced beings who traveled via gateways through time and space. But Picard's excitement over the discovery is short-lived. The Enterprise has been infected with the same computer virus that destroyed the Yamato. Making matters worse, the Romulans are extremely displeased to see the Enterprise on the wrong side of the neutral zone. Whoa, this is a long one. Okay, here we go, folks. It's hard to imagine, but just 25 years ago, writers used to use typewriters to transfer words from their imagination into physical reality. But by the mid-1980s, with personal computers increasingly available, the writing, so to speak, was on the wall. Time for an upgrade. This change was both exciting and unnerving for writers, even writers of science fiction. They were excited by the new technology, but few of them knew what to ask for when they went into a computer store, which is why Gene Roddenberry decided to take a big leap and purchase his first desktop computer. He went directly to Beth Woods, the manager of a computer store located near the Paramount lot. Both Dorothy Fontana and David Gerald had recommended Woods, and that was enough for Roddenberry. Woods not only sold him a computer, she taught him how to use it. Not long after, TNG hired Woods to implement a computer system for the staff writers. Paramount at this time did not have an extensive IT department, and in fact, few offices at the studio use computers. Learning that Woods was, like countless others in Hollywood, a struggling writer, Roddenberry invited her to pitch some ideas for his new series. Woods had never sold anything for television, but she felt that her friend Steve Gerber, yet another person she had met through her job at the computer store, might be a good collaborator. Gerber wasn't exactly an unknown. He was a superstar in the comic book circles, best known for creating cult favorite Howard the Duck, the comic book character, not the movies. With stories appearing in imprints of virtually every U.S. comic publisher, Gerber had more recently served as a story editor on a variety of animated television projects, including G.I. Joe, Thundar the Barbarian, and the Transformers. He was also a longtime Star Trek fan. The writing team got a positive response to their pitch about the mysterious explosion of a Galaxy-class starship and the subsequent infection of the Enterprise computers. Conversations with Roddenberry as they were developing the script generated an angle related to the ancient civilization of the long-dead Iconians, and in the process establishes Picard's passion for archaeology. Despite a few predictable tweaks made after they returned in their final draft, both writers were pleased with the result, except, ironically, for one thing: the way the computer was cured. Yes, the way the computer is cured is not good. Simply rebooting, they explained, would likely have rebooted the virus as well. Yes, this is true. But they accepted that the in-house fix was much less complicated than their more technically appropriate solution. Following her television debut, Woods focused on writing computer how-to books. Gerber, noting that he'd fulfilled a lifelong ambition to write a Star Trek episode, went back to writing comics and animated television shows, animated television shows until his death in 2008. And that is all the block text has to say about Contagion. What did you think of the coverage, and what did you think of the episode, boss man?
Well, before I do that, I'll say thank you to the great Your Muslim Uncle for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. As he says, as much as I try to lean on my practice and micro community, Clobby and R.M. Briggs and all the people here have made those lonely moments when my mom's health has been bad, bearable, and not as hard. Well, Your Muslim Uncle, thank you for that, my friend. And I'm very pleased and touched and honored to hear that, sir. Thank you. And we wish the best of health to your mother, and whatever she's going through, a recovery, a speedy recovery. Thank you so much, my friend, and we always appreciate having you here.
Yeah, and for strength for you, not just support for in that way of hope for your mom and love for your mom, but also for you and how brave you are to say out loud that you need to lean on friends every once in a while. Your Muslim uncle, you are such a nice person. Whenever I see you in chats, you're always kind to everyone. You have been a pleasure to know, fine sir. And I'm sorry you're going through this. And my heart is with your mom and your whole family and you. That's a very difficult thing to go through personally, and just even taking care of others. Don't forget to take care of yourself. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for your support, your Muslim uncle.
Thank you so much, Muslim uncle. A very interesting cover. I'm very, very pleased with the coverage here because I have a little bias going in as a comics fan, and I've always Gerber's a nut. I've talked a lot about him, putting it like this, and he's created some great things. He's written some great comics, and so I'm glad they gave Gerber not only some credit but some coverage about his career. He had a very prolific and tumultuous as well comic book career. And he wrote some TV and stuff, things like that too. This episode, it's not surprising that Gerber wrote this one because it has comic book all over it. I kind of enjoy. I actually kind of like the episode. I do understand what you're saying about the computer thing, the virus thing, stuff like that. But this one, again, after that last one, this one at least you could say what you want. You could probably tear it to pieces, but it feels like trying to be Star Trek. And every time I'm going to always, even if I didn't like the episode, if I detect trying to be Star Trek, I always give a bit of a plus to that to an episode. I found this one to be fairly enjoyable. I'm not saying it's Measure of the Man or anything like that, or whatever. But I thought it was again interesting. The Iconians. This is another example, and this I guess I'm used to this. This happens in comic books all the time, where someone will jump into the middle of the lore of some I guess to use a lack of a better term IP, and just create something out of whole cloth. That just stick it in there, they'll just kind of make it up and all of a sudden add it to the lore that might seem almost sometimes ill-fitting, if that's a way to put it. So in other words, they'll just, and they've done it a lot with no regard for any kind of continuity with all throughout Star Trek. So doing it one more time, what the hell? And what I mean is the Iconians. This is a planet that's so close that it's in the neutral zone, and we know all about it according to this episode, but have never been mentioned before. This was Gerber just throwing that in there. It's okay. I'm not even complaining about that. I'm just saying, wow, that's a pretty powerful civilization. However, I think they did a pretty good job of, but put it to you like this. This episode should be watched by dunderheads who make filth as to why it is a terrible story device to have that technology that could what the Iconians could do with these gates, things like that. It's fine for the show Stargate. It's fine for Doctor Who. For Star Trek, it is, I hate the word, but problematic. And so I just, it's kind of a lesson to them. And yes, I know there was a sequel to this on Deep Space Nine, of sorts. So altogether, I found the episode kind of fun, kind of enjoyable. At least it moves and something's going on, and there's some interesting ideas in it. And on balance, I thought it was an okay episode. So you have notes?
Yes. Well, my rating is not so good. But I'll do my notes. The archaeology and the Earl Grey episode. So if you play Star Trek trivia and you play advanced Star Trek trivia, please make note of this. This is in a number of Star Trek trivia games and challenges. The archaeology and Earl Grey episode, season 2, episode 11, Contagion. Glue that to your brain. And then I have here Sweaty Geordie. Oh, look at Sweaty Geordie. We're going to throw him around a lot. I've never seen his uniform so soiled. It looks so bad. Poor Geordie. How would a medic not know what a splint is? Because, of course, on a away mission, a medic would need to know how to improvise a splint. So that's kind of the Taris and the Taurus. Banter between Riker and Troy is super annoying. They have a full conversation where he's like Taris and she's like Taris. And so it's like pick a pronunciation or just slap each other across the face. The Guardian
do better.
The Guardian of Forever.
Yes.
City on the Edge of Forever, season 1, episode 28. Moreover, sorry, I'm speaking in Star Trek, but I'm just going to speak in pure Star Trek at this point. I'm just going to speak pure nerd. Okay. Moreover, all our yesterdays, season 3, episode 23.
Very, very, as unlike Jill, very derivative and not anti-derivative. What you're saying.
Yes, and then I have here in my notes: rebooting a computer doesn't cleanse it of viruses. Duh.
Are you sure? Maybe in the 24th century it does.
Yeah. So yeah. Bring in the poop, Zamboni.
All right, Snail Messiah, you have a great night. Appreciate you being here.
Good night. Thank you for stopping in. I'll see you next week or at any time on Clobberin Times. You can come here anytime.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. But you're not a true like a hardcore Trek fan if you didn't think about those things you just mentioned, especially Guardian Forever.
Yeah, because of course, because it does play on the Guardian Forever, but then you think to yourself, or are they trying to harness all our yesterdays? And
Right.
that's intriguing. But yeah, you can tell that it's like you said earlier, it was like they were trying, but
But it's
yeah,
not time travel though, at least. So it's not exactly like it. It's more like,
no, yeah,
those are time traveler. Where this is the Stargate type of technology
yeah.
that can, that could send you anywhere and stuff like that. That was, I don't remember that ever being done in Trek before that. So
Yeah, it's just yeah.
there you
That's
go.
how I feel about this one.
That's a rating, folks. So,
That's
you have notes or
those were my notes,
those were the
boss
notes?
man.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, all right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask, of course, as I always do, everyone. I'm going to ask my first officer for her rating of Contagion. I will give mine, then I will ask our wonderful chat here for their rating, and their thoughts. So go for it, number one.
It's a C plus for me. That's as high as I can give this one. I almost went with a C. I considered a C minus. It's very poopy. It is. I need Wolfie to pull out the poop Zamboni and just
Wow.
clean up on aisle 11. Episode 11 needs some cleanup. Let's just get out the poop Zamboni. Let's get this mess cleaned up so no one sees it.
Well, that seems like a high rating for poopy because I'm giving it a C plus as well, and I kind of thought it was okay. But yeah, I mean, I thought, I don't know, at least it tried to be science fiction and not just sitting around wanking around the whole time like that last one. But nevertheless, we have the same rating, and yet it just didn't bother me as much. But I definitely hear you. So everyone, I'll ask for your. There's Lord Thoth. I think that's our first one. So here we go. The great Lord Thoth says, C. Is it C minus? I'm sorry, C minus.
Mhm.
Loved seeing the Yamato and the Ramis. Registry issues. NCC question mark. Could you elaborate, sir? I'm not sure. Exactly.
Please do.
It was an interesting sci-fi story that was best left buried. Another forgotten advanced race, forgotten like the Takan Alpha. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about that, how people will just a writer will go into an established continuity of sorts and just inject something that while it's new or it hasn't been in there before, it kind of doesn't fit well. If you see what I'm saying, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know, especially as close as the Romulan neutral zone. And they knew all about him.
Yeah.
They've known about this Iconian Empire or whatever.
Yeah.
But now they just find this planet there. So they knew. How did they know anything about him?
Yeah.
If they didn't know where that planet was until now.
Yeah. It's just it's crap writing.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. It doesn't.
I love Gerber, but it makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Right. Absolutely. And again, mainly because they know everything. They know all about him, but they don't know where their planet is.
Imagine how we could have used the Iconian technology in any number of circumstances where, imagine Janeway using the Iconian technology.
Yeah. Exactly. Again, and I don't know. You could have found some other way to deal with something like that, but just say this is a race. We all know everything. We know all this stuff about them, but we don't know where we didn't know that their planet was in so close to us that it's in the Romulan neutral zone.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's kind of Captain is Decker Replicant Spock said, "I wish I knew of your show when you were reviewing City on the Edge Forever." Well, it's still out there. It's still on there if you ever want to catch it.
It is. Boss man, I beg your pardon. Please excuse me. 1,000 apologies, sir. Games, movies, and comics are us. Just walks through the door, as well as.
Okay. Well, games, movies, and comics are us. It is good to see you, and we appreciate you. And it's always good to see. I can't pronounce it. It's it's an N and some N, a bunch of M's. It's great to see you. We appreciate you. But yeah, I have a Star Trek playlist on there on my channel. You can find all of our Star Trek shows that we've done, including all of our Saturday Night Star Trek, brother, if you care to indulge. And thank you, by the way, Captain Cockney. I appreciate it. Kalel 48, 1 of 2, C+. I understand what they were trying to do, but wouldn't the engineering department know that rebooting the computer wouldn't get rid of the virus? Also, has the practice of using antivirus. Let me trying to find your other one up there, Cal. Wow, where's man? It must have jumped fast on me. I'm trying to find you there, Cal. Hang on, buddy.
I've got it. He
Okay,
says,
go for it. That'll help.
2 of 2, program no longer a standard practice in the 24th century. Starfleet needs better IT support.
Oh, hang on, everyone. I have a microphone disaster. I'll be right back. If you want to read,
yes,
you can read this one here from
sure.
Michael Beacom.
And somebody asked if I use a soundboard to make all of the various sounds and voices that I use and stuff like that. No, I have that much practice doing the Raspberry. Just basically, you can thank season 1. If anyone wanted to up their Raspberry game, season 1 is the way to make that happen. Michael Beacom. He gives this episode a D. He says, Gene Roddenberry himself interviewed Isaac Asimov on Inside Star Trek and said, when you write sci-fi and think science is not involved, you will make mistakes before you even begin. Here is the proof. Yeah, and that's just it, Michael Beacom. I'm always trying to push that idea forward, even helping by sharing Gene Roddenberry's Bibles so that people can connect to the fact that science fiction was the ideal, and that science fiction is a definitive genre, and it should be respected. So,
yeah,
great comment.
Can you hear me now? All right?
Yes, of course I can, boss.
Thing broke off on me. Okay, thank you for that number one. Sorry about that, everyone. James, Captain James C. Skywalker D. It's peanut butter and raspberry time. And
Punk Waddle says analog raspberry power. Punk Waddle, I really like you, and that is really, really good comment.
Indeed, it's just
yeah.
Let's see, makes the backtrack, make sure we're okay. The great Snortropoulos. C-. Picard once more proves that he majored in gullibility at the Academy by trusting a cloaked Romulan ship not to follow him. Starfleet really needs to invest in a good virus sniffer.
It's true.
Let's see here.
I know a bear who will work for fish.
A major lesson is delivered in why. That's an A, but I know. Okay, major lesson delivered. Sorry. And why it is an idiotic idea to have families aboard starships. It is.
Yep.
How many families were wiped out when the Yamato exploded? Did Starfleet learn anything from it? Yeah, there's that, buddy. Yeah, now that you mention it. Yeah, that's. I mean, they signed up to be on that ship. Yeah, it's not. It's just. I never liked the idea, but that's a long story.
Nope.
I never thought it was a good idea. I mean, I know they live out there for a long time, but yeah, that's just too dangerous. But it's just anyway. The great KC never figured out why a chief engineer spends so much time on the bridge. Why did Pihard order destroy the tricorder? I want to get him one any info on the Iconians there. Technology, I guess. No danger. What the hell? Basic field medics, no splints.
Exactly.
Rebooting does nothing.
Totally agree, Eric.
It's just.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Permission to come aboard, says Steve Mitchum. Permission granted.
Oh, permission granted, Steve Mitchum.
Indeed. Let's see here. Resvagem says, no wave motion cannon action from the Yamato before it blew up. Indeed. Yeah, poor old Yamato. Enigmatic drop there. 1 of 3. D+. This was setting up to be a nice mystery with an interesting premise, a long extincted advanced civilization with tech remnants that could upset the balance of power in the neutral zone. The Iconian Trojan horse malware was an okay concept, but the story was full of inconsistencies. Why did the Yamato leave Iconia? Yeah. Why did Picard lead the away team, placing himself in mortal danger? The way the dying patient trope, was used with Data was awful, and wiping his memory to eject the virus contradicted some of the sound arguments presented in Measure. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That was 3. Yeah, that was a good point there. Absolutely enigmatic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. The great
Agreed.
Raymond Feliciano says C a minus. This was, I think, a minus.
Yeah.
This was Raspberry Bingo.
Yes.
The roller coaster continues.
Yes, Raymond. Yes.
Let's see here. Bop, 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 bop. Oh, there we go. Lord Thoth explaining. Yamato had 2 registry numbers. Wow. NCC 24383 and then a 71807. Whoops.
Okay. How come that rings a bell for me?
And then they gave an earlier episode, a different one there that Snort shows. So
yeah,
you got me, partners.
Yep.
You got me. No bloody A, a B, a C, or a D. Scuba Pete says C+. I liked the nods to TOS episodes, but was the Iconian's computer really Milton and Bradley? Simon says red, yellow, blue. It could well be, sir. Oh my goodness. Well done, Scuba. Well said, sir.
So good.
Are you feeling all right today, Raymond? You haven't mentioned the board yet, dude. What the hell, man? This is the second one from Kal-El. I think I couldn't find it I'm sorry about that, Kal-El. Here we go. Program no longer a standard practice in the 24th century. Starfleet needs better IT support. Yes,
we got that one.
Sorry it took me so long to get to that one, sir. It's tough to find them all the time. Phantom Outsider, 1 of 2, but it's at the bottom again. But I found the C. The rating helps, the numbering helps, buddies. Appreciate it. C. Everyone knows the Iconians were noted for their porn downloads via Napster. Grandpa didn't pay for the security software. If only there was a security department. All right.
Very funny. Steve Mitchum has actually named a song that I do know at 14 minutes past the hour. He says, Domo arigato, Starship Yamato.
Yes.
Steve, I love it.
Good to see you, brother. Final Outsider Part 2. I hope that's 2 of 2. I'm thinking, right, buddy? Okay, there you go. 1 of 2. Thank you, sir.
Oh, LT's leaving, boss.
LT, if you got a rating to leave with us for the last one, you're more than welcome to. Buddy. But thanks for being here.
He says, gotta run, everyone. Have a great night. Last episode is a D for me. Oh, it just jumped. And and then he says, night. LT, please tell Mrs. LT that we said good night. And good night to you, fine sir. Talk soon. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Take it easy, buddy. Good to see you, man. I guess Mark D is probably out watching movies and stuff, so he hasn't sent me anything else that I know of. I'll make sure real quick. I guess not. That's okay. We'll get his ratings later. Good thing they had an Android member who comes with his own actual security software. Stop downloading porn, Wesley. Riker, Worf, and Geordi, for shame. Yes. Braille has the most malware. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Bop, bop, bop. All right. Max Redstone says C+ for making us hear about Wesley's feeling. Geordi getting tossed into the turbo lift like a chicken in a shake and bake bag was funny. Picard escaping to the Warbird, too convenient, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, like a shake and bake bag. Max Redstone.
You guys are a bunch of ingrates. At least it didn't have as much Wesley as the last episode. Jeez.
It's true. Just so much. Wesley.
Oh, it had some, but it didn't have as much. I think it did. Was he in that? No, yeah, maybe it was. It's tough to remember these episodes. Unlike Measure of a Man, we haven't really. This is not really that memorable. I mean, we got to see a ship blow up. Whoopee! But a Canadian Spidey. I give it a C+. It was mildly exciting for me, and I enjoy episodes that show that has outside shots and plots more than the ones that never leave the ship. Okie dokie. Gotcha, buddy. Honey. You like to leave that ship every once in a while, is what you're saying. Go stretch your legs on the planet.
That's
Got you
right.
covered. Wolfie, 1 of 2, C minus. This episode is just okay. Starts out great, but then becomes very meh. So is the Yamato NCC 24386 hike, or the other number. You got me, buddy.
Yeah, I seem to remember trivia from that a model was made, I think, and then they didn't get the number right, and then they kept on using it anyway, but it's very vague. And remember, folks, unlike many people, I don't Google while I'm on the show. Whatever happens comes from ye old
Right.
brain, and I'm nearly half a century. So, but I'm pretty sure that that has something to do with a model being rendered, and then it would just cost too much money to replace that model, so they kept on using it even though it had the wrong number on it. But I would need to look into that for you. But that's what I think is behind this, if my memory serves me correctly.
Indeed. Let's see. Only 3 Galaxy class starships have been destroyed: Yamato, Odyssey, and Enterprise. The poop Zamboni is getting about as overworked and sweaty as Geordie's uniform.
Good stuff.
Indeed. Let's see here.
Hey, Ted's here. Ted, it's okay that you're late. I'm just happy to see you, and so's
Ted
Clobby.
Millich? Is that Ted Millich?
Yes.
Ted Millich. Hello, because I can't see the chat down there. Good to see you, Ted. Thank you for being here. Well, I can't see you yet, but I'm glad you're here. Let's see. Where am I? Let me find where I am. Where am I? Nope, they didn't learn. See, Wolf 3.
Who is number 1?
You are number. All right. Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness, we got an epic here. We got an epic here. The wonderful anti-derivative Jill.
Ooh.
You're up, number 1.
Hello, gorgeous. So anti-derivative Jill, Clobberin Times' favorite nerd, she has given us an esh pick. This is 1 of 10, and she is giving this episode a C. This episode features the magical portal to places convenience for the plot. She continues, 2 of 10. Why would medical professionals in Starfleet not be versed in primitive solutions like splints when the likelihood of Starfleet being struck somewhere without their technology is highly likely? Sorry, she said stuck. 3 of 10. It was right that they ended up staying around, but it would have made more logical sense to go away from the Romulan threat with no indication that the ship was in any danger. Contrived. 4 of 10. I love Data's acting when he is malfunctioning. So that is how this episode is not a D. Oh, I got to stop here. Jill, I totally agree. I actually almost put that in my notes because it is very good, isn't it? I can't imagine how much Brent practiced. I've met Brent so many times in real life. He's just such a wonderful person and such a wonderful actor. I just love him. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, Jill. I'll keep going. The turbo lift tosses Geordie about. It's action for the sake of it, but it was fun. Clubby? Yeah, here we go. 5 of 10. I'm sorry for the length of this, but it is important. The solution to shut down and reinstall is the lamest because it is the most obvious. Also, Data flatlining is silly. 6 of 10. Any IT professional knows about reinstalling a system to restore factory settings for a computer. In fact, it is the first solution many of the more lazy or smart IT workers use. Yes, indeed, Jill, you are correct there. 7 of 10. We back up the hard drive and reinstall to avoid having to clean the registry, which may cause damage if we delete the wrong thing, or it may leave infection behind the virus scanners missed. This is also true. 8 of 10. The easiest method to avoid this is reinstalling. So it's the very first thing Geordie should have decided to try. He needed an external OS to install because everything in the ship is compromised. 9 of 10. For the first episode featuring the Romulans, they're largely inconsequential and an inconvenience at worst with their ship also in disrepair. It could have been a chance to force teamwork, but no. 10 of 10. C, maybe high, may seem high, but I'm giving this score because they certainly tried and it was still very enjoyable despite the flaws. Fate protects fools, little children, and ships named Enterprise. Dun, 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 dun. Take a bow, gorgeous. Take a bow.
Indeed. Well said. Well said as always, the wonderful anti-derivative Jill. Sandra Feliciano says, C, no protection for the computers with all that critical data is dumb.
Yep.
The fix was so dumb. You know, back then, they didn't know any of this stuff about computers when they made this episode.
No.
I'm not defending them, but, you know, they didn't know what viruses and all that crap were. They didn't know in 1989 or whatever that much
in
about
1989, everybody was kind of, unless you were like super nerd.
Yeah. Let's see here.
And even back then, like in 89, people weren't really like going out of their way to develop viruses. I think viruses really started to proliferate. I would have to check the history on it, but I think around 95 to 97 is when people started to catch on to the fact that they could profit off of it or cause trouble just to prove that they could do it.
Yeah, they didn't know a lot about any of the things. You know, that's a retroactive criticism. But when they wrote this, they didn't know that kind of crap about computers. How they never, very few people did. The Catman, aka D.D. Myers, says, "Clabe, I give it a C plus. Thought the story was okay. Wasn't my favorite. Thought it was funny in spots. Thought they trashed the story." Well, thank you,
Myers.
Thank you, Catman. Let's see. I think. Make sure. Oh, there we go. Just Joe, buddy. B minus next time.
That's a high mark.
Indeed. Next time, Control Alt Delete when Jordy downloads porn for his hollow addictions. I laugh so hard, but at Jordy getting thrown around in the turbo lift, Rikers shouting, "Can we throw rocks at them?" Yeah. That was silly. Let's see here. I think we got everybody. Let's make sure. So we will move on. So we make sure.
Scuba Pete. After the reboot, the Enterprise's clock just keeps flashing. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. I love you, Scuba Pete.
Oh, indeed.
I love all the Scubas. It's such a great family.
Oh yeah. If we missed anyone, let us know. I'm not seeing anymore. So we may be done with this one, folks. Hang on a second. Let me get current on me chat here. And I think we're there. Okay. Well, let's see here. I believe that's it. So we're ready, folks, if you are. And if we missed anyone, just make up for it on the next one.
Captain Spock, I am not here.
Yeah, but are you a replicant? That's my question.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, everybody, we're starting on our final episode of the evening, the Royale.
The Royale, Season 2, Episode 12, first aired March 27th, 1989. I will be extemporaneously reading excerpts from Star Trek 365, The Next Generation, written by Paula M. Block with a little help from Terry J. Erdman, blessed by Ronald D. Moore. We are on Cinder Block number 96. After recovering a bit of space refuse that appears to have come from a 21st century Earth spaceship, Riker, Worf, and Data beam down to an uninhabited planet and find themselves trapped within an artificial environment that resembles an old casino. Inside one of the hotel rooms, they find the remains of the astronaut who piloted the spacecraft. On a bedside table is a novel called The Hotel Royale, and also the astronaut's diary, which reveals his fate and perhaps predicts their own. The Royale is another unloved child of the Next Generation's early years, disowned by its progenitor, Tracy Torme, this is true, who removed his name from the final product and replaced it with the pseudonym Keith Mills, this is true, and regarded as inconsequential by the fans. Originally titled The Blue Moon Hotel, it has been one of the first story concepts that Torme pitched to TNG producers, although he wasn't given the green light to go to script until season 2. Torme's draft was reportedly unsettling and surreal. I've heard this, and more than a little influenced by his admitted fondness for the classic 1960s television series, The Prisoner, which I love. That is so cool.
Yeah.
The astronaut's life in the hotel was based not on a cheesy novel, but on a fragment of a pleasant memory that the mysterious resident aliens had pulled from his mind. Yes, I've read that elsewhere. But even a pleasant memory can become a nightmare if one is never permitted to leave. Torme's version of the story featured a central role for the hapless astronaut, which caused conflict between the writers and the producers. They made a big point at the time. We don't want to do big guest roles, Torme stated in a 2002 interview with Star Trek, the magazine. So the astronaut then became a skeleton, and everything about him in the piece was gone. That was the biggest thing I had a problem with in the rewrites. He was the heart of the story to me. So these are quotes directly from this interview. The clash apparently took the heart out of Torme's involvement in the series as well. Yeah, I heard this rumor, and it's crazy that they're confirming this. The son of singer Mel Torme made plans to move on to other projects at the end of the season and contributed only one additional script, Manhunt, to TNG, choosing to use the pseudonym Terry Devereaux on that one as well. And that is all the block text has to say on the Royale. What did you think of this coverage, Clobby, and what did you think of this episode?
Well, as happens too infrequently, the coverage is more interesting than the episode. This this is all. It's just this episode's notorious for being considered one of the worst ones.
Yep.
And the shame of that is some of the if you watch the whole thing through, you think toward the end there, toward later, you go, these are some good concepts. It's a shame you guys screwed it up so bad because there are some Trekish ideas in there.
Yep.
But as with many of these episodes, even the ones that have at least some Trek types ideas, it's the execution that is poor.
Yeah.
And in this one, oh boy. I don't know. It just really is. I will say is one of my favorite redneck actors, Noble Willingham's in it. He's the most fun thing in the damn episode. That and, I did like the Quester nod in it though. Mm-hmm. The episode the part where Data is playing dice.
Yes.
And he reshapes the dice with his fist he crushes. That's straight out of the Quester tapes.
Yeah, Quester does that. Yeah, he repairs the rigged dice just like Data does. Yep.
Yep. And Quester says, "I will reshape them."
Yeah.
And he crushes it. Yeah.
And I love that you brought up Noble Willingham because he just like when I watched this originally in '89, I couldn't get out of my head how wonderful it was that he was like he was a fun version of J.R. Ewing. And I love that he was willing to take off that expensive hat and just plop it on Data's head.
That was funny.
I thought that Noble Willingham did such a nice job in this. And if you ever wanted JR to be kind, that would have been JR kind. Do you know what I mean, Clobby?
Yeah, I always like him and stuff. He's always just, I mean, he was great in Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah.
Last Boy Scout. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I always kind of liked the actor. But again, the episode itself, the dolphin really didn't have much potential. I don't think really a lot. Contagion, you could say something about there was some potential there, but maybe I don't know. This one, some of the ideas pretty interesting about the aliens. Felt bad about causing this astronaut to go off course, but they didn't really understand him, a la the Telosians, and so they create this environment out of this stupid book. Okay, yep. I really don't think that's terrible. I just think that the execution of it, and let's be honest, the way they did this, they put him in this casino. No matter what you do, when you put them in the casino, you're just going to look silly. And the episode's very difficult to take seriously because they're just walking around in a stupid casino the whole time. Like some of the stuff when Picard is commenting on the book is kind of funny and interesting about how crappy the book is.
It was a dark and stormy night.
Yes, not a promising start. And I'm just, what is it with Troy? I don't know. It just kind of, sometimes it bugs me.
I can feel him. He's in another galaxy, but I can feel him.
I can feel how he feels, and he's on another freaking planet. He's down on, so she can sense things from orbit.
Yes.
How people are feeling. Look, okay, in close proximity. I hate it when she does it when someone's on another ship or something.
Yes.
But at least, like for example, when they're on the viewer, okay, maybe she's seeing them, and maybe I don't know, some kind of cockamamie reason. But he's on the friggin' planet.
Yeah, I know.
That kind of
Imagine what it's like for Troy to go to Earth.
Yeah. Oh God.
Imagine what it would be like for her to go to Earth. You know what I have to say about this? I'm just going to refer to the great Scuba Pete of the House of Pete's. At 32 minutes past the hour, he just gives the perfect answer. Shut up, Troy.
Yeah, exactly. I like good old Noble Willingham. He should be. In fact, I think he should have been the captain, son.
Shut up. That is such a good impression. Do that again.
What? Well, let me tell you something, boy. If I was running this ship, I'd have that pretty little lady sitting next to me, would you?
Oh my gosh, that's really good.
Oh, don't be silly.
I love that. I love that. Well, I love your impressions. Lots of people love your impressions. I know Jill loves your impressions as well. You're very famous with the nerds. You know what I mean? Maybe the geeks aren't so into your voices, but nerds are all over that.
Well, we love the nerds here. I aspire to be a nerd someday, folks.
You are nerdy. You have lots of nerdy things.
Nerd one of these days. But maybe for the rest of this episode, I should just review it like Noble. Let's see. I think this episode is one of the worst pieces of hog trough I've ever seen. It's a piece of pig's wheel. Oh, never mind. Boy, if you can't write any better than that, I'll son of a bitch.
Shut up, Troy.
Yeah, tell that Wesley to shut up for a couple of days and I whack him around with my bullwhip. What's this with the bold captain? It's the 24th century. God dang it, son.
Love it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, just crying. What a great night.
So yeah, kind of a stinker to a lot of people. And look, they got themselves into this. Like you said, they screwed around with his original story, and
they did, yeah.
You get a few kernels of some ideas that are Trekish, like the whole part about the astronaut and things like that, and you just make it silly, and it's tough to take seriously.
Yeah.
So,
no. Just wait. I beg your pardon, Captain. But Scuba Pete, everyone's pointing to some comments Snorty made. Let's go see the bear. Bear says, Troy, Captain, I'm sensing annoyance. Pee hard. That's the crew. We're tired of you, Commander Obvious. Oh, you're such a good bear. Sending some chin scritches for my bear.
Yep. Well, we got someone, Michael. I'm about to stop my chat because Michael put a review in early.
All right.
Whenever you do a review
stop
early,
the chat.
I got to stop my chat here so I can, because you got to wait till we ask for it, man. We appreciate you, Michael, so it's fine. But because you have notes.
I do, Captain. So I just put in my notes. It's pretty much the same as the block text. Remember, I don't read the block text beforehand because, that takes too much time and I don't have time to practice as though it's the news or I'm reading a speech. So
no problem, Michael. You're good, brother. We appreciate you.
But so Tracy Torme forced a nom de plume. His original script was about a man trapped in one of his best memories, and he's forced to live it out in a nightmarish Groundhog Day. Several sources report that Torme was so upset that this permanently ruined his relationship with Star Trek. Quester repairs rigged dice, just as Dady does herein in the 1974 movie. And then in my notes, I have, my husband loves the Worf line, what a terrible way to die, as Worf's going into the closet and they're talking about how Colonel Ritchie, the NASA astronaut, died in his sleep. And he says, oh, he died in his sleep. And Worf, looking in the closet, goes, what a terrible way to die. My husband bursts out laughing. He thinks it's hysterical that he says that.
Yes.
He's like, that's such a great Worf line. And then in my final note, I have alien abduction, because of course the entire thing is rationalized as an alien abduction. What the hell was Colonel Ritchie doing that far out in NASA in
Right.
a NASA spacecraft.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They did
so
say it wouldn't make it out that far, but something happened.
so I wrote alien abduction in all caps and then used an exclamation point. And those are all my notes. Boring notes. I mean,
Boring
it's
episode.
the Royale, so it's boring episode.
Well, number one, what is your rating of the Royale with cheese?
Cheese. It's great. I actually give this one a pretty high mark because I really liked the whole idea of the prisoner, the whole idea of this Groundhog Day, and I wish that instead of it being a cheesy novel, which I accept, that they would have went with the original idea. I love the idea of being in the casino. I realize how that can sort of seem silly to some folks, but I actually enjoyed it. I also love the kindly J.R. Ewing. I love the way that he makes me feel, and I just think that it's a cool idea. I think Tracy Torme is such a brilliant writer, and this would have been such a wonderful homage to The Prisoner, which of course I got introduced to through you, Clobby. You introduced me to The Prisoner, and I love it. I just absolutely love the whole thing, the whole Kafka-esque, nightmarish, surreal, opium den type of feel of that whole show. It's just absolutely brilliant. It's not even prose so much as it borders on poetry. It's like Samuel Taylor Coleridge. It's just such a great show. And so for all of those reasons, of course, the Quester tapes being in here, as well as the cool line from Worf, I do let it slide through with a B minus,
Well, of course, old JR was kind of hitting on that lady. He was kind of creeping on that girl. But I got that little feeling. It was kind of cute. I can't blame her. Look, I'm not that. I don't really. There are episodes that are way worse to me, only because this one had a good idea that I think the execution wasn't all that great. But I gave it a C minus. So
Yeah.
But there are episodes that I think are way worse. And I'm kind of with you. I'm being a little harsh because it's at least it has funny stuff in it.
I loved this in 1989. I'm not going to lie. An anti-derivative Jill says, "What episode of The Prisoner was this episode supposed to be, Raquel?" It wasn't an episode per se, Jill. It was the entire idea of being transported to a village. And then you have to relive this nightmare where everything is surreal. So nothing feels as though it's real. It has a nightmarish quality. You're trying to figure out which end is up, what's real and what's fake. It's sort of like I was saying earlier, almost like a Samuel Taylor Coleridge poetry, where you're trying to grapple with what's real and what's caused by this sort of opium den type of writing. So it's quite beautiful, Kafka-esque. I absolutely love it. So Torme was actually doing an homage to the entire premise of that show, which is to wake up somewhere or to find yourself somewhere, you're isolated, you can't get off. Almost like, if you haven't watched The Prisoner, sort of think of like Fantasy Island. You're trapped in this place, and what is real and what isn't real begin to collide, and you become frightened as you try and figure out what exactly is happening. And I absolutely love that, because of course I love The Prisoner. I absolutely love Fantasy Island, and I think Torme would have hit it out the park here. No wonder he was so upset.
Well, I can't blame him for that. So, hey, Michael Beacom, it's no big deal, man. I stopped it. We're good, bro. Don't you worry about that. But I appreciate you having you here, man. So don't worry about
Kirk
it.
just walked through the door, boss man.
Oh, JT Kirk, good to see you, man. Also, Mark Lasert was here, and Keely Chow, roll tide. Good to see you.
Oh, and 1903, TX is here.
Oh, okay. Well, all kind of good friends popping in. Great to see you. Great JT Kurt in 1903. I like to know everyone who pops in so we can say hello to them. Great to see you all.
I beg your pardon, Captain. I'm sorry to stop for just 1 second, but I must say, anti-derivative Jill has decided that she would like to see The Prisoner, and it's free, where she can get it for free. She says, "I have no excuse." Anti-derivative Jill, I need to tell you something that is very important, and I will be as brief as possible. I tried to watch The Prisoner. Everyone told me that you can watch The Prisoner in whatever order you want, and it's okay that the broadcast order or the order they put the shows in on the streaming is just fine. and it won't ruin the show for you. I want you to know that that is complete horse hockey. Jill, Clobby has an order that he watches it in that many people watch it in, and it makes so much more sense when you're looking at number 2, when you're looking at number 1, when you're trying to fathom what's happening. And so there's a very specific order in which aficionados watch it in that I started watching it in the, oh, it doesn't matter what order you watch it in, and it almost ruined the show for me. So I went back and just rebooted the whole thing doing Clobby's order, and it was divine. It was a completely different experience. So could you please do me a favor, Jill, and get a hold of Clobby on Twitter and ask him for that little card that he sent me, because it is just absolutely wonderful, and you must. And once you experience number 2, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll be like, oh my goodness, yes, I totally understand. And I don't want to have any spoilers, but get a hold of Clobby for me, please, Jill, and please watch it. You'll love it.
Indeed, just let me know, Jill. Be glad to help with that. Excuse me. Michael Beacom says of the Royale with cheese, C-. Bad. This is one of those situations where we really wished they had made it better, and I have seen many people forgive it more for what they imagine it might have been than what it was. That's a good point. Resvagam. C. The astronaut wasn't the only one that died in their sleep in this episode.
Wow, I really like you. You're great company.
Yes,
Oh, Enigmatic Drop Bear has asked to get on the prisoner chain.
Sure.
Did you like how I did that? I hope Scuba Pete liked that I said that, the prisoner chain. Enigmatic Drop Bear, Clobby is on Twitter. Would you please do me a favor and go and find him on Twitter? Because he can actually DM it to you, and he can give you more information on it. He recommended it to me. I'm Canadian. I never had an opportunity to watch that or see that before. And it's simply one of the most cerebral pieces of television I've ever watched. And I just absolutely love it. And I will watch it again and again and again. It is delicious. It is just so wonderful. You must get a hold of him, and he'll show you the order to watch it in, and possibly give you a couple of ways that you can watch it.
Oh yes. Just if you're not, I don't know if enigmatic. I don't know if you're following me or not, but if you are, just please do so, and you can DM me, and I'll have to DM you, follow you back, so we can DM each other. So yes, just follow me if you haven't already, and be happy to help you out with that.
Boss, he just said, "Will do, Raquel. I'd have to create a Twitter account." Enigmatic Drop Bear in the show notes for every single broadcast that Clobby does, he includes his email. You could also get a hold of him through our show email, and that will populate the second that this show is finished, if it's not already there now. There.
I have my email right there. Yeah, there are a couple ways you can contact me. That Enigmatic. Let me see there. I have my the Twitter one, and I have my Facebook group that I do, and also let me see. I'm not seeing my. Thought I have. Oh, I'm going to put my email in the chat right now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys, I can't. I'm not one of those people who likes to oversell something, because then if you tell people, "Oh, this is awesome," then they critique it and they're like, "Oh, it's not that good." But this is, like, I'm telling you, as an academic, as a scholar, this is such a cerebral and wonderful piece of television, and you could watch it again and again, like you're dissecting poetry. First you enjoy it, then you look at the highlights, then you read it again and again and again, and you just think, isn't this a beautiful thing that's happening to me? And that's what it's like watching The Prisoner.
Indeed. So I put the link there. I can't see the current chat yet, but I guess it went up with there, if you can see it there. So I can't post it up yet, but I put it in the chat. Hopefully it went through there. Yeah. Resvagam said the astronaut wasn't the only. Okay, there we go. I'm going to try to find some other ones here. Let's see here. Ted Millich, good to see you, says C+. probably a B
Yeah.
when I first saw it, but it was rerun way too many times. Okay.
Yep. I got you,
Well, thank
Ted.
you. We got you, Ted. Thank you so much, Ted. Appreciate you being here. JT, it's just good to see you. That's all that matters. Let's see here. Find some other ones. They're quite a ways down. Give me a second, everyone. I'm trying to get to them. Oh man, it's going to take a second to get there, folks.
Don't worry about it. You just go ahead and do that. I sort of derailed things in when I started talking about the prisoner, but I can't help it, you guys. He showed me this. I'm so excited about it. It's just wonderful.
I hope I'm getting it right. So if I miss one, anyone, I'm sorry. I think I've got to the next one here, because it creates this like huge gap with all. I have to stop the chat when I see one. But okay, so Captain James C. Skywalker D. Riker is supposed to know when. You got to know when to hold them.
Yeah.
Know when to fold
Hey,
them.
Kenny Rogers.
Know when to walk away. Yep. Know when to run. Yeah. Little singing from the Velvet Frog might have helped.
Aww.
Yes. This grade is Lord Thoth approved.
Yes. What a great
Yes.
comment. I love the comment.
Sandra Feliciano. C. Campy, but kind of fun. After the astronaut died, we did the aliens. Oh, why did the aliens continue? Sorry, continue the illusion. Well, they probably. I guess they just left the thing on. I don't know. Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Kinda
Pete
silly.
and repeat and Pete and repeat and Pete and repeat.
I think they just dumped them on that planet. And it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense, does it?
Nope.
Scuba Pete, C+. It has some pretty funny moments, but aliens using an Earth book to model an environment was done way better than a piece of the action.
Yes.
Certainly was. It certainly was. Yeah.
They shouldn't have done that. Hey, Scuba Pete, they just should have left the Torme story the way it was.
Yep. What happened?
We had Raymond up there, and then it just disappeared for no reason.
Okay, there we go. I don't know why.
That's okay.
Still not going up. Oh, there we go. It could be something wrong with my StreamYard's going slow. All right, Raymond Feliciano says D for dull. The old aliens used the book to create a universe trope. Sigh. Stay away from mine. So yeah, the Dolphin Wars, folks. By the way, by Raymond Feliciano.
Yes.
The Amazing Wonder Troy. Sigh. Please let's go to the boards. We're getting there, buddy. We're getting there.
Ask and you shall receive. Great comment, Raymond.
We're getting there, brother. Enigmatic drop bear, 1 of 3. C-, a somewhat enjoyable character-driven mystery. An advanced alien species converts a poor piece of fiction into a real-life branching simulation with a Hotel California twist. Yes.
Ooh, that's a good point. The Hotel California twist.
Right. Absolutely. Very good point. You can picture them observing Colonel Ritchie like the metaphorical goldfish in a bowl.
Yeah.
Right. Although, yeah. I liked the data gambling scenes. They were fun. Excuse me. Though I agree with Clobby's and Raquel's criticisms of the episode in general. Maybe the last 2 episodes wore me down. That could happen.
Love it. Love it. There. Great comments.
Yes. Indeed. 1 of 2. A C- for Snorter Poopas. This episode has a Twilight Zone feel to it. Yes, indeed. Complete with a rotating door to nowhere.
Yes.
However, the plot boils down to the characters being drawn into a bad Harold Robbins novel with the Giants. Giants. But as Spock said in the voyage home, it was Oh well, yep. There you go. Well, on the same page. Sorry, that was the same page was a very bad joke. Sorry. JT Clark says D-. This episode is just a bomb, a real bomb. This is one I wish would stop playing in syndication, as it's not really a Trek feeling episode. Twilight Zone, maybe.
Yep.
I hear you there. Kalo 48 says an interesting a C+, by the way. Sorry, an interesting idea, but poorly executed. I did like the fish out of water interactions that the away team had with the casino staff and patrons before. They realized what was happening, though.
Yep.
Fair enough. My Twitter handle, you just go look at CLOBBERIN times on there, probably you can find it. I think that's pretty much the easiest way to find it. Yeah, but like I said, you could just email me if you want. Where am I at? What did I put up there? Oh, okay. Phantom Outsider. C, due to the Quester connection.
Yes.
Yep, the episode left everyone in a velvet fog. Picard comment on how bad the Rosales was. Oh, Rosales was. As if those Dixon Hill stories are so great.
I agree.
Yeah,
and
ask Waylon. That's a good point.
I always think of that when I watch this episode. So I love that you just said that, because that's something that I say either in my head or out loud every time.
Good point. Let's see here. Trying to see if we have any more. Yes, Jill Doomcock is a huge fan of The Prisoners. Doomcock and I agree. To me, I think it's the greatest show ever made, but my sentimental favorite of all time is still the original series. So,
oh yeah, TOS is still
it's my favorite. Yeah, I love.
It's the top. But The Prisoners, I don't know. The Prisoners is pretty close second for me.
Says D. I did not enjoy this episode.
I respect that.
It's good to see you there, Im. Yeah, Michael, that's a point. I try not to hype anything. I just say I liked it or I didn't, one way or the other. And and I've gotten to a point in life where people say, so should I watch or read so-and-so, or should I not watch or read? I always say, hey, I tell them what I thought of it, and I say, but you make up your own mind. I ain't the boss of you. You never know.
Yep.
I might think it sucks. You might think it's the greatest thing ever, or vice versa.
Yep.
You never know.
And it happens, and it's more and more like it happens more and more as people become more jaded by all the negativity that they see online. So yeah, that's why I threw out that caveat as I definitely don't want to spoil it for anyone. I definitely don't want to do that. Yikes.
Absolutely. Wolfie, 1 of 2. Rating C. It was a dark and stormy night. Oh crap! Some nice moments make up for a slow pace at times. Look, there are a lot of worst episodes. I hear you there for sure. But the captain either did. Either died from story boredom or waiting on room service to bring his Royale cheese. I thought this was the creepy casino from Battlestar Galactica 79. Rather, I remember that.
Yeah,
rather horrifying.
God, I love our chat. Yeah, the Hotel California, the Battlestar Galactica 79.
The one from from Dr. X 78, but still, that was what do you mean the Ovion's casino? Is that what you're talking about? Could be.
I think that's what he's talking about. But so cool, hey, that just I love that I like that feeling, that creepy feeling. I think it's kind of cool.
57-star flag, really? I never counted them. 1903 TX. I love this episode. I like characters placed in unfamiliar circumstances. Episodes generally, the awkward silliness is a bonus. I always excuse suboptimal execution if I find the idea interesting. Well, that's fair enough. 19. That is fair enough. Let's see here. We haven't seen. Have we seen Jill's review yet? No, not to Jill yet. We're getting there.
Jill is up at the top. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not to it yet. Okay.
No, she's already up there. She's at 53 minutes past the hour, but you'll get there.
That's what I said. I'm not there yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Max Redstone, buddy, C-. Colonel Ritchie was the luckiest. He died. We were lucky. We were lucky that Noble Willingham was present for dramatic encounters. Well, you said a mouthful there, partner. I'm the tallest hog at the trough around here. Yeah. All right. Catman, aka G. Myers. Clobby, I have this one at a C+. Thought it had some funny humor. Just for that, I gave it above grade. Well, that's perfectly fine. I hear you there.
Yeah, I like that. And C+ is incredibly close to B-. It's only separated by 1%. I totally agree. There
you go. C- for the great Eric A. de Bronzeva. Why not just send Wesley in without the ending of the book? That would have made it an A+++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++ our wonderful friend Jill. So go for it. Number one, you're up.
Antiderivative Jill, our resident nerd, she has done a 4-parter, and she gives this episode a D. And Jill says the following. The sci-fi aspects make no sense in terms of 21st century ship ending up so far away from home. There is precedence, but this episode makes no effort at an explanation. 2 of 4. I like the idea of an alien thinking a crappy novel is a world we live, creating a hellhole purgatory, and Data playing blackjack is a fun variation on Data playing poker. Fun and silly filler. 3 of 4. Learning that the astronaut was supposed to be alive brought this episode down a grade. The Texan almost earned it a C. Your impression is impeccable, Clawby.
Oh.
Hearts for Worf's joke, though. Conflicted.
Thanks. Thank you, Joe.
4 of 4. Riker again makes the best quote of this episode. None of it makes any sense.
Yes, on point.
Great review. I love Jill's reviews.
You rock, Jill. Canadian Spider-Man D, simply because it was dumb. How did a ship from that long ago get that far out into space with no reason given? Sorry, they lost me from the beginning. They hypothesized that it took them out. The ship abducted them or something. Then they felt guilty about
abduction.
It. But yeah, who knows? Darius Munchausen. Hello,
hey,
there.
Darius.
Good to see you, my friend. Let's see here.
Resvergam. That's pretty funny.
Oh, I'm
very naughty, but very funny.
What happened? Like, I'm not to it yet.
Oh, he said, imagine if the astronaut was carrying a Playboy on the ship instead. That episode would have gone from a C to an A++ for Resvergam.
Or double D if you just pay me.
Oh, that's actually good. That's good. That's good. That's a groaner. It's a groaner, but it's a gooder.
That's a groaner. Sorry. Well, he had to bring up Playboy. It's not my fault. He broke it up. Was it right? Michael Beacom's. I begged Doomcock to do a prisoner retrospective 3 years ago, and since then, AZ and Rybermet did a full review. Wish he and you and RM would have. Yeah, that will look. I talked to him a couple of years ago about that as well. And he said he wanted to do something like that. It just never came to be, but that would be fun, like a round table of the prisoner or something like that. I'd be all over that. Let's see here. We got an alarm.
Yeah, Maya's medicine time.
Yes, the Ovions. Okay, that was in the actual Battlestar Galactica pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to run do that?
No, it's okay. My husband's doing it.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Sorry about that.
Hail RM's husband. Let's see here. I think I saw another friend pop in.
Captain Spock is leaving. He says, I gotta go. Teenage son demands shopping. Have a good one, chums. Good night,
Take
Captain
care.
Spock.
All right, Spock.
Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your company. Good night.
Yeah. I think our our buddy
Mark D with the C.
What's up, bro? I know he's been out and about on the town. So good to see you, brother.
This is a great comment. If you're listening, or if you're just listening at home and you're not participating in the live chat, Mark D with the C says, "Hail everyone! The missus made dinner plans tonight in violation of the Saturday night Star Trek directive to stay home for the stream!" With an exclamation point.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. You tell the missus that I want her agonizer right now. Your agonizer, please. The agony booth. Let's see here.
Fabioki 100.
I think we got everybody, though. I think we got a lot of reviews.
I think we did.
Hey there, Fabioki. Welcome. Great to see you. What a great crowd we have tonight, huh?
Yes.
So let's see here. Damn it. Yeah, I think I'm just making sure. But it looks like we got them all.
Yep.
Okay, everyone. Well, hey, we've got through 4 more, folks.
We did.
What team? What a crew.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, that should be the good, the bad, and the poop Zamboni.
Yes. Oh my goodness, we've done it, folks. Success. We've done it. Well, I'll tell you what a great crowd as always. And It's been such a great time talking to you all and hanging out. I mean, really appreciate you. I cannot tell you how much this means to all of us that you hang out and with us and just talk some Trek.
Yeah.
And because we all love Star Trek, and good episode or not, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, Captain, yeah, we can't do more. We got 4 more next week. We could do 4 more right now if you want. No, we can't, but I appreciate you there. So I guess I'll do a couple quick show notes, and we'll say our goodbyes and get out of here. What do you think of that?
Yes, I think that sounds good.
All right, let's see here. Let me make sure that I'm on point. Before let's see. Before I do my show notes, though, I want you to tell everyone about your literary works.
Oh my goodness, that's so kind of you.
No, it's not at all.
I hate using your show to plug
don't be
my
ridiculous.
Stuff. I just love you so much.
Your show too. Don't make me use my agonizer on you.
I love you. Yeah, folks, a lot of people think that I'm an academic and a scholar, and so I write, scholarly stuff and academic stuff. I do that, but I also write science fiction. And my discipline is short fiction forms. I especially love flash fiction. So if you like things like Philip K. Dick, if you like things like Edgar Allan Poe, if you like the old Outer Limits or the old Twilight Zone, you might like my work. And you can give it a try. It's really cheap. It's under $1. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the story share. And you can find it at Amazon. You can find it on Goodreads. And you can also find it on your Kindle device. All you have to do is look up RM Briggs. And I just wanted to say again to the 14 people who are named and unnamed who helped me do that fundraiser. I love you guys. And I just want to thank you so much for being such a good friend to me and to Clobby, and to just answering that call. Some of you were incredibly generous. Eric O'Sullivan, Sandra and Raymond Feliciano, Chris Persia, amongst many other names, Anti-Derivative Jill, Canadian Spider-Man, lots of names there, 14 people, named and unnamed. I love you all very much, and I just want to thank you so much because you're really good people.
And I thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. I was not expecting any of this, but I just love you for it. So thank you so much. Let's see here. I should take that off the screen there for a second. Let's see here. Well, I'm going to do some show notes really quickly. Then we're going to say our hellos and even goodbyes to get out of here. Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk, starting a 5-part series of, this will be part 1 of a 5-part series of it's comics, duh. So we're going to be talking about the 5 great comic team-up books, and the first one, of course, being World's Finest, because Batman and Superman are friends. And of course, Wednesday night is September 8th.
It's gonna be so hard.
Oh, I think you can do it. Number 1, you can do this. Number 1 and I, this coming Wednesday night, 9 p.m. I think I have it 9 p.m. Central. Yeah, that's right. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 8 for you, number 1. Okay. We're going to count down our top 25 all-time favorite episodes of Star Trek, the original series. Now, of course, I don't need an agony booth because this is enough agony for Raquel as it is. I could instead of saying the agony booth for Raquel, I could just say, write down, pick your favorite, your Star Trek episodes. And that's just as much torture for her, apparently.
Yes, so. It's going to be so hard. I'm going to spend the whole rest of the weekend on Monday and Tuesday sweating over this. I'll be sweating blood over this. This is my baby. This is my love. TOS is my love.
Well, love it myself. Oh, look, JT's looking forward to it. Oh, well, we're looking forward to seeing you there, JT. We're going to count them down, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. Well, thank you for that, Michael Beacom. I'm glad you were here. really appreciate you.
Yeah.
We love you
And
all. You've all been fantastic.
yeah, and
And
Michael Beacom, you are correct. We have the best wrenches because we have the best
yes,
friends. And yeah,
they're friends.
I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. I love you, Chris Persia. I love you, Eric. And it's difficult. Like I can't see who's wrenching on this side of StreamYard because of the version I have the free version. So anybody else who wrenched, I just want to say thank you very much. Mwah, mwah.
Indeed, indeed. And I'll tell you, excuse me. Sorry about that, everyone. So Wednesday night, please come and watch the torture session. Watch
Yes.
Raquel's pain.
Yes, anti-derivative Jill is correct. She says it's like picking which is your favorite kid. You can't do this stuff. This is gonna be so hard. So watch me sweat blood. Come and watch me just it's gonna be so hard. It's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be enjoyable because
It's
my
gonna be
Star
fun.
Trek family will be there and my Star Trek soulmate, my captain, will be there.
Well, you get to talk about the episodes that you love, and it doesn't mean it doesn't mean you don't love the other ones, and it doesn't mean you don't. It doesn't mean you love the number 8 on your list that much more than you love number 12 or 13. It just means you still love them. So, an Independent Drop Bear says, "Oh, last week I forgot to thank you for recommending The Rocketeer." Oh, really? Yes. I did watch it and really enjoyed it. It was very well made, and most importantly, it's a lot of fun. Well, I thank you for that. Appreciate you. I love that film. So. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That means a lot to me. So that's fantastic. I appreciate that so much. And now we're going to say our goodbyes to my wonderful friends. And because you're important to us, and we'd like to get everyone a shout out, even if they're not here, even if they've already had to leave, because we understand how that goes sometimes. We're going to shout everyone out and thank you so much for being here. Of course, Stuart Mitchell was here.
Yes. Good night,
Stuart. Thank you so much for being here, Stuart Mitchell. Our wonderful friends, the Felicianos, Sandra and Raymond.
You guys are just absolutely wonderful. Just absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for supporting this channel and this show, and just for being a wonderful couple who I just appreciate so much.
Indeed, indeed. Fandom Outsider, buddy. Always appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Snort all poopas, bro.
Snort all poopas!
Cuba. Captain James T. Skywalker, thank you so much for being here, my friend. Appreciate you.
Good night.
She may have had to run, but still the lovely Bionic Belly Button was here. Love you, Bionic.
Beautiful lady. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and for supporting me in that little fundraiser I did. Love you, BB.
Thank you, BB. Thank you so much. D. Bud Martin, the Man of Iron, was here.
Yeah.
See you, bro.
Mwah, mwah.
He had to run, but we still appreciate the great Lord Thoth, brother.
Yep.
LT.
Good night, LT.
Indeed. I haven't seen her in a while, so she may have had to run, but I love you, Arwen Avalon. Thank you for being here.
Good night.
We have a lady here that I've never seen here before. Six, but I know who you are, Six, because I know you went for Tom at Midnight's Edge and stuff like that, and so it's good to see you, Six. Thank you for dropping in.
And Six says, if you're just joining us as a podcast and you're not in the live chat, Six has said, I'm here late and Raquel has me looking on Amazon for Star Trek TOS on Blu-ray because I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Six, welcome to the fold. I am so happy that you are doing that. You will not regret it. That tonight, it seems I'm in the mood for overselling, but TOS is literally the greatest thing ever put on television. And so I am so excited for you. And I want you to feel as though you can come here and ask any questions, rant, rave, do whatever you want after you watch. And we will be here to celebrate with you. And I think that's terrific. So welcome and so cool and great journey.
Absolutely. Six, you have been here before. Well, it's wonderful to see you, and thank you so much. And I hope you get a chance to watch that, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for popping in. The great Eric K, brother. Always a pleasure, buddy.
I love you.
The great Chris Persia, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Love you.
For all you do, Chris and Eric. Appreciate you so much. I know this was a first timer, and we really enjoyed you here. Resvagam? Resvergam. I'm going to get that straight, I promise.
It's Latin. Latin. I'm terrible at Latin. Good with the Greek. I mean, but the Latin.
Indeed. Thank you so much for being here. Michael Beacon, my friend, I really appreciate you.
Yep.
And we love your input. Thank you so much, bud. And the enigmatic drop bear. Thank you
Yep.
again for all your great input as well. We appreciate you being here.
Yep. Loved your company. Good night.
I think she may have had to cut out, but we still we love. Let's see. Okay, Resurgam. All right, Resurgam. Got it.
Think
I got it now.
resurrect.
Thank you for helping with that. Think
Resurgam.
resurrect.
Okay.
Resurgam. I'm good now. Thank you. I'm just an imbecile, but once you show me like that, I got you. Okay. Janet from Another Planet was there early. Love you, Janet. I don't know if she may have
Good
to
night,
run, but-
Janet.
Max Redstone, brother. Thank you for being here. It was great to see you.
Yeah, and thank you so much for the super chats tonight. I forget
thank you all.
whomever did a super chat. Thank you so much. And Max, you're just wonderful. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you so much. The great Scuba Pete. Thank you.
Scuba Pete! I love
him
it.
Scuba Pete.
I love all the Pete's.
Indeedishness. Khalil 48, buddy. Always a pleasure.
Good night.
The Drusif was here. Drusif,
Yes.
thank you.
Drew, thank you so much for showing up and for supporting the show and hitting the like, and I really appreciate it.
Zax, thank you. King Dolphin.
Zax. Yes, King Dolphin TV, folks. It's a little
TV,
secret.
that's right, TV.
It's King Dolphin TV. I'm whispering the secret. Go see it.
Go see it. Terrell 72 was here. Always a pleasure. Thank you for
Nice
being
to
here.
see you.
The lovely, wonderful Katie Carr. She had to leave, but we love you, Katie.
Our beautiful ballerina.
Our wonderful dear friend, anti-derivative Jill. Jill, we always appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for being here.
Nerd. I love you, Jill. Good night.
Snail Messiah, I do believe had to run, but thank you, Snail Messiah. Shout
Good
out.
night.
Tim's Talk popped in earlier. Tim's Talk, good to see you. Thank you.
Good night.
Wonky Jeebus popped in.
Good night.
Indeed. Wolfie 762. Wolfie.
Ow! Wolfie, love you. Great comments tonight.
The Catman, aka Dee Myers.
Yeah, Dee Myers. What a wonderful person. He's such great company.
Good to see you. Our good friend, your Muslim uncle, and my friend, your Muslim uncle. Please, I hope your mother gets better, my good friend. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's a lot for you and your family to be going through, and we're the whole chat. On behalf of the whole chat, we're sending you and your mom and your whole family our support, and we're thinking of you, sir. Thank you so much.
Indeed. Dr. Hercule, buddy. Always good to see you, buddy.
The doctor is in.
Just Joe 47. Always appreciate you, Jobber. Thanks, buddy.
Good night, Jobber.
Hey, Jobber, if you're still listening there, come in soon, man. We're gonna have a football show. A week from Wednesday. I think I'm gonna have Loki and Nick and a few of them. We're gonna break some rules here at Clobbering Times and talk a little old NFL history.
Yeah.
But anyway, Nick did. Speaking of Nick Weiser, he popped in earlier. We love the great 32 flavors of Nick Weiser. What a great friend he is.
We do. And great food reviews. He reviews junk food. It's hysterical to watch.
And he has a great channel, and of course, links to his and many other wonderful channels in my description below, my friends. Nirada Max Amanda Bear, thank you for being here. Great to see you.
Good night, Nirad.
A new one popped in. Hereafter Media, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Captain is Deca Replicant Spock. Cogni, always a pleasure, bud.
Good night.
Mega Cropper, thank you for being here.
Good night.
The great Canadian Spidey.
Steve.
Always good to see you, bud.
Love you. Good night.
Another great Steve. Steve Mitchum popped in. Steve, brother, always good to see you, buddy.
Oh, that's Steve. That's my Conan in Vegas, who has the most beautiful daughter. Steve Mitchum, love you very much. Talk soon.
Indeed. Parrot Head, buddy, thank you for popping in. Always appreciate you.
Yep. You better have a margarita. That's all I have to say to you, Parrot Head.
Indeed. It was good to see you, Punk Waddle. Thank you. Games, movies, and comics are us. Always a pleasure. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate you there. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. Ted Millich.
I beg your pardon for wait 1 second. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Clubby. Says ask Raquel what she believes is her best story. Oh, I don't know. Like my stories have different. They're different. Each story is different in its own unique way. I can tell you that different people like a different type of story to be evocative of a certain feeling. Lots of people like Georgia, lots of people like Charmaine, and lots of people like Lila. People really like that. There's a director and a playwright that lives here who voiced Lila for me. So those are the ones people like. And thank you for asking. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Clobby.
It's all right. It's all right at all. Thank you for asking. We appreciate that. Ted Millich, thank you for being here. Mark Earth popped in. Good to see you. Keely Chow, roll tide. Always a pleasure.
Good night.
JT Kirk, buddy, we're glad to see you pop in, my friend.
Yeah.
Hope you'll be
excited.
I'm excited. Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. And I'm so happy to hear that you're going to be there because it's going to be hysterical. All the usual suspects, and it's going to be so much fun, even though it will be painful for me. I will be writhing in pain the whole time.
Oh, yes, pain. So much pain for Raquel. 1903 TX, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Good night.
Hey, Darth Astor, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, bro.
Hey, good to see you. Thank you so much for showing up. I bet you were here earlier.
It's just good to see him. No matter how long they've been here, it's always good to see him.
Exactly.
Darius Munchausen, thank you for popping in.
Darius.
Fabio 100.
Yes, thank you.
And last but never least, our great friend Mark D with a C, who we appreciate seeing you there, brother. And that will take care of everyone. I want to say a big just thank you so much for all those who've helped with what Raquel set up there, but also thank you so much for being here tonight. It means, I can't tell you how much it means that you're all here hanging out with us. We just have a wonderful time. Look, you got to understand, Raquel and I could just sit and talk to each other for hours and hours and have done so, and we have a wonderful time doing that.
We do.
But it's something that, when you guys hang out with us, it's just special and just talking some Trek. And, we have to focus on what we're doing here, so we don't get to see half of the stuff you guys get to see it going by in the chat.
Yeah.
And so I hope you always have a good time when you're in there. And know that even if we're not being able to comment on the stuff you're in there, we try to keep up with as much as we can, and we just appreciate you all. And it's just fantastic. What a great group you all are, and you deserve a reward. And the reward is always those who are still here get to see our wonderful intro outro that my fantastic first officer made. Raquel made this, and of course we had a little assist to get it here from the great Mark D with a C. So we're gonna play this out with that. Have a wonderful night, everyone. We hope to see you here. Any of you comics fans, I hope you'll be here for Mark C. Comics Talk on 8 p.m. Central Monday night. And of course, Trek fans, let's meet back here for Star Trek Day. Let's celebrate the 55th anniversary of Star Trek. Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for some original series Trek, our top 25s. Good night, everybody, and live long and prosper.